Hey, good evening, everybody. We are live tonight, Sun and Moon, on the Thursday, the 28th of September, 2017. And we have a really great panel tonight for our special guest, Mr. Thrive and Survive, Rich.
And I'm glad you're all here. Good to be here, as usual.
Who's here on the panel tonight? We have Germany. We have Aaron from America. We have FPV from the UK.
Yep.
You, Rich from America. We have Ceres from Holland. We have Patricia, the UK. And we have Stan from the UK. FPV is going to start this presentation tonight. So over to FPV.
Hello, Karen and panel and all those lovely chatters out there. First, I want to say a few words to the community, Karen, regarding what's going on in the background everywhere. You all know about it. So just on behalf of the Sun and Moon Group, I'd like to say the Sun and Moon Group are trying their very best in uniting the community any way possible. We know there are lots of old feuds and fallouts in the community, but to progress Flat Earth into the mainstream, we need everyone to put all their differences aside and concentrate on the big picture. We must attract the right kind of people from professional levels, so we do have standards to keep and maintain. Drama, he said, she said, etc., etc., will not be entertained. It creates division. Right, so on the next part, I'd like to thank Iron Ron FE. I put a call out on my channel to help get Matt Jerome's work converted from hand drawing into a computer format we can work with and overlay on grids. So Iron Ron FE, he's stepped forward and he's helping Matt in the background currently. So you'll get to see some of Matt's work more and more in the presentation Matt's going to do. So I won't say too much about that. There for Ron. Cheers, Ron. Right.
Great introduction, FPV.
Thanks, Artie. Just doing my bit, mate. Right.
Yeah, all of these people are working really hard. All these people in front of you, Rich, are working really hard for Flat Earth.
Yeah, put things aside, guys. You know, we've got to progress. We've got to move forward. Let bygones be bygones. Let's work together.
Well, for what you guys have come up with so far, I can tell you're working hard on it.
Thank you, Rich.
Present me, Karen. I'll just play the video I made a couple of weeks ago. It is regarding Antarctica and these receding tides. Don't worry, this is minimized so you can't read it.
Right. You are presenting.
Right, okay. I'll just play a little bit of this. This is a clip I recorded a couple of weeks ago. Signals coming from Antarctica. Sorry, no, this wasn't a couple of weeks ago. I recorded it a couple of weeks ago because the date is still on their site. But if you look at the date, this was in August. It was when the tides receded round and you can see that. Hang
on, we can only see your avatar, by the way, at the moment.
Right. Hold on. Sorry about that. Technicals.
Yeah, it's got to have a bit of that in here. We've always got to have that.
I'll share an entire screen, but nobody's nothing sure. Can you see that now?
No, it's just your avatar at the moment. Oh, there you go. Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, that's the recording I made a couple of weeks ago. But it was from August. The date is still on there from August. You can go back on this Mimics actually about 3 or 4 years. So, you know, any data you want up there, it's there in colour. Right, this data, I think it still needs kept an eye on. I don't know if anyone else is out there looking at it. I know there's a few people not in Flat Earth looking at it. I've seen the videos popping up everywhere. There's a connection going on, and it does need monitored. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to show you the tools I used to help me create this video. So anyone out there can do their own little bit of research and help out in any way they can. So I'll just minimize that a sec, and I'll take you to the Mimic map site. You can see that, yeah? The Mimic map.
Yeah.
If you type in Google, just type Mimic map in Google, and it should bring you to this site. The program I'm going to use to capture it, brilliant little program. It does all kinds of capturing and jobs and what have you. It's a good little proggy. So to capture that, basically download this YouTube capture.
I was just going to say, share the links in the chat and I'll post them in the live chat, so everyone's got.
You could Google it while I do this. That would be handy, because just search A-tube catcher. You can see it there. But only get it from the official site. You know, I don't trust these other sites because they normally come with bloatware and everything else attached. Right, so we've got to screen record. This one here. It's simple as select area. Click that. See the crosshair. Go on the part of the image you want to capture, and then just click start. You can see there it's recording away and the cursors are flashing. That means it's recording that now as a video file. Record it as long as needed. You can see there, look, see the white flashes coming up. They're still trying to hide what's going on. This is like, you know, this is live now on their site. So record that as long as you want to record it and click stop, and it will save it into a folder of your choice. So if I went in there now, in that folder, where was it? video file there, and then at least you've got it in video. You don't need the audio, there's no audio on it. So that's one program you can use for capturing. I mean, it does a lot more than capturing. If you want to convert video, catch streams, download videos, convert videos, it does a lot of, you know, there's a lot of options with that, so it's a useful program. And it is free.
OBS does it all.
Yeah, well, yeah, it probably does. But yeah, for a freebie, you know, you can't go wrong. It's free and easy to use. Another program I use after recording it is GoPro Studio, this one here. It's a free download again, you know, it's a brilliant video editor. Plus import the file that I just downloaded or captured. Add it to a conversion list, convert it. It shouldn't take long. And this is converting it, you know, when I've got it in here, it's saved as MP4 there. You can save it, it'll save as MP4 when I finish. I work with MP4 a lot, so that's my chosen format, but you can save that as any you want. You know, Windows Media Video, there's lots of options for what you want to save it as. That's finished. Go to here, and simply drag it down here, and then you can edit and cut bits out of it, speed it up, slow it down. Take the sound off. So say I wanted to edit that bit out. I just click that line there, mark in, so it'll cut that bit out. Then put a mark out where you want it to finish. So you capture the goodies. I mean, this will work on any website, not just an image maps. You can go on any website that's got embedded video and you know, capture it. So you've got in and out. You can tune it up if you want it to look a bit more colourful. And that's it. Speed it up, slow it down. For freebie, and it's got the best slow motion I've ever seen. If you use it for, you know, like your family videos or whatever, it's a useful program. So that'll slow it down. You can capture it better then. So yeah, just some tools to help researchers out there if they want to, you know, if they want to help out or learn how to do. Well, them two programs will do it all for you. That'll save now as a video file, and you could put overlay voice on there and actually add it here.
What was the video capture one again?
It's A-tube catcher, this one. You see it there, Stan?
Just to say, FBB, you have found some anomalies, but you're not ready to say anything yet, are you?
Yeah, lots of anomalies. I've got a video that I'm working on. There's probably only about 15 people in the world aware of it. I will be releasing that soon. That's going to open a lot of eyes. That's a, you know, that's a nice. It's going to be a nice surprise for people. I think that's it for me, Karen. Really, it was just to, you know, get the thanks out there, remind the community we are trying to keep it on a professional level and work together. And a few little tips here and there for people that's researching. Well, there's 2 little free programs that you can use to make produce good output.
And if people don't understand, we have quite a few hangouts or after hangouts, and we're all talking to each other all the time. Everybody on this panel, you know that, yeah. And we get on really well, but we do get on really well.
It's safe to say that the reason to research this is people are noticing that energy appears to be coming from Antarctica, and then we see these anomalies where ocean waters dry up on one side and they pile up on the other side of the ocean, that type of thing. Is that safe to say?
That was a strange thing with the South America, wasn't it? You know, the tide went out, the ocean vanished, but where did it go? Was anyone reporting, tsunamis coming their way? I don't think anything like that was reported. Gentle moving away with the ocean, and then it slowly rolled back in again. It's, that's unheard of.
Right.
Very strange.
I think Africa
the opposite.
flooding.
Wasn't in Africa actually the opposite happening in that they had the extra water?
Exactly.
I'm not sure. I didn't look at the Africa side of it, you know. I just seen this going on, and thought I'll look at the mimic data. You know, there's a few other channels out there highlighting this. Antarctica anyway, but you know, you can see signals.
I wouldn't have said that they had those, you know, tsunamis and stuff like that, but they did have a lot of rain and they did have flooding.
Yeah.
For all this water to go out, it had to go somewhere, didn't it? It was quite a lot of water.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It needs monitored. You know, you can see in this live video here where they've actually cut pieces out. See these white strips? It's like they're trying to hide them signals that we were noticing last time. Remember that wide signal, that a few thousand mile wide that went down here?
Is this for the hurricanes or for the earthquakes?
Karen, you cut out there.
Sorry?
Yeah, you cut out there.
Is it for the earthquakes or the hurricanes, this bit?
I'm starting to wonder, is the earthquakes actually involved in this as well now? You know, not just the tides receding. What's going on with these earthquakes in this region? You know, is there a connection to that as well? You know, I'm starting to think all this is connected. Earthquakes to consider. There's data needs looking at the earthquakes. You know, these days the earthquake happened. Does anyone check the data on these?
What are we looking at actually? What are the colors meaning? Is it radar, gamma, etc.?
To be on a microwave frequency, and it's picking up the weather patterns. This, you know, warmest, red being the hottest. So yeah,
I think this is precipitable water that's available in the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what it's based on. Yeah, but it does seem to be detecting certain types of radio signals.
Is it the sea or the air? Because the land there's no color in there. So
yeah, I think this is just an overlay. This land, so you can see by these white signals, it's been overlaid. I'll try and stop it on one there. See on the top part of there, you can just see it goes beyond the landmass. So these are probably just overlays on top of the real image.
Yeah, I bet you the whole thing's filled with color, and they just throw that black and white land on top.
Yeah, I mean the land masses will be there on the original, but these definitely look like overlays. You know, to hide, possibly used to hide other things going on.
Now, is this only live, or can you go can you say, okay, I want to see what was happening on August 15th? Can you go back?
Yeah, there is a database there. Hold on, I think I've still got it on the screen. You go back on here, see what it says recent. Is that showing?
Yeah, and there was a big white bit in the middle just there when you came back between South America and Africa.
Here you go, look, 2010.
Oh, yeah.
It goes way back. So any bit of information, you just click it, and it'll load the animation and then show it you for that date. So there's a lot there that needs looking at, really. You know, you type
a useful format in that it is already an image instead of the actual raw data.
Yeah.
That's what I have. That I can actually go, zoom into details.
They've made an update to this site as well, like a version 2 of this. It's here.
It'd be interesting.
It seems slower to me. It seems slower to me. It seems I haven't seen as much activity like them white flashes as I'm seeing on the older one. So they may be trying to, you know, maybe this one hides something. It might not, but I haven't seen any flashes of white on it.
It loads different images. It's
yeah, see that?
graphics animator instead of a GIF animator, and the portable network graphics give more color options. That's the only difference.
Yeah, so it's been turned more into a composite where, you know, you can, with digital composites and things, they can remove things easy and hide it.
Yeah, this one they have the color over the land as well.
Yeah, that gives you a better picture, really, doesn't it? Yeah. So that it could be useful if it's hiding the data the other one's showing. Then
this one is actually the right GPS format. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 10.
Yes, it's definitely it's an upgrade.
I could convert this into the triple square, but yeah, you see north south is barely any data.
Yeah, it seems to be missing, doesn't it? What you're seeing, them white flashes on the other one, they should be shown on this one. They're both coming from the same data, apparently. So is this one hiding something? I don't trust it yet, but it is a new addition to the site. You don't have to use it. And if it's not showing what the other's showing, then yeah, I wouldn't use it because it's been used to hide something.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to take a capture and then go back in the archives and see if they differ.
Yeah, look, this is the older one. This is the older one running live, about the same time frame as the other one, and you can see these white flashes popping up. These have been edited and re-uploaded. For them white flashes to be there, someone's edited this, cut bits out. I mean, you can see it there. Look, yeah. You see my mouse cursor? Watch there, and you'll see the big thick band, and then you realise what they're cutting out. See it there?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And it was over Australia as well, at the same time.
So they're trying badly to hide it. So that shows we're poking the bear. We can see what they're doing, and they're trying to hide it now. So that tells me there is some relation between these signals going on and other events. So yeah,
that hurricane on the East Coast, it seems to have flashes right in the eye of that thing a couple times. Watch as it goes up. You'll see there. Yeah, there's a little white. There's another one.
Yeah. I don't know if that's them cutting something out there. It'd be hard to look in there, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Probably zoom in a bit more.
As I was saying before we came live, I noticed about 2 years ago, one of the worst hurricanes ever to hit the Philippines. I saw that anomaly hit what appeared to be anticyclonic movement in the Pacific. And right after the energy hit it, it was just disorganized thunderstorms that were moving in an anticyclonic way. They should have died out. But the energy hit it, and immediately they turned cyclonic, and within a day it was a hurricane. And 3 days later, it hit the Philippines as a Category 5, I believe.
You can actually see that, you look along the coastlines, see all these dark patches. This seems to be where all this antenna activity and then that big thick band seems to be hitting. You look at the coastlines where we're seeing these signals. I mean, these probably fault lines and things, Is that a relation to something? Possibly.
Yeah.
Australia, there's something going on there.
Yeah, above Australia as well.
Yeah, you can see something happening there, and these black patches mean this. Is that because of this going on? It's funny, you look at some land masses, they've got these dark patches around the edges, and yet you look at others, and it's look at California.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if there was any energy dispersed, like in Mexico with the 7.1 earthquake and then the 6.1. See if there was anything dispersed just before that happened or as it happened.
Yeah, it would. There's a lot of ways you need to be looking at this from the air, the ground, everywhere, really. What's going on? That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it all related to earthquakes and receding oceans?
And I know there's been tons of massive flooding that's not being reported. Italy, I understand, somewhere in the Pacific, in Asia also, have had horrendous flooding recently, and it's just not covered in the mainstream media.
And a lot of earthquakes as well.
Yeah, earthquakes everywhere.
Yeah, Caribbean from my group, and they said that they were expecting a 10.1 earthquake, and it didn't happen. So you can imagine they were obviously a bit worried, but it didn't happen. It was a 4 point something.
Wow. How could they be expecting something that big? Somebody were they told to expect something that big?
Yeah, I don't know if I could find it that quickly, but I told Ceres obviously. But he said to me, we expect oh my goodness, because I'm expecting a 10.1 earthquake today, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean 10.1. That's like end of the world there. It's like the biggest, one of the biggest ever.
What I'll do, Thrive,
Yeah,
is I'll
that's
find you that message and I'll copy it and I'll send it to you.
Well,
Just so you know
Saturday,
that.
Go on, Cam.
I'll just photocopy it and send it to Thrive so that he knows that I'm not making it up and someone sent it to me.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that family was speaking to in Mexico, Karen, when they were at the earthquake. Remember, you had a private chat
Yeah.
with them, and I jumped in. And I thought, wow, you know, this is actually live going on, and these people are scared.
They were really scared.
Yeah,
The
scary
one thing
moments.
he said when it stopped, although you do assume that people will cry, he said the whole town was crying. He'll never forget it.
Yeah,
And what it
that
is
was a big shock,
they've been involved in 2 earthquakes, although the other one was further away. But the whole of their apartment block, the stairs have cracked. Like any more earthquakes, it's probably going to bring their flats down, their apartments down.
Yeah, what a worry that must be.
Anyway, they wanted us to open source it, didn't they? That's why they came on.
Did you see that video with what he showed with the building coming straight down?
Yeah.
You know, it was like watching one of the Twin Tower buildings. It just dropped straight down the building. Some factory, I think he said it was.
Well, he definitely said a
Ceres.
wave went.
You can see. Yeah, like a shockwave it must have been. You know, that's. I don't know if that happens in every earthquake, mind. That needs looking at, doesn't it? You know, what's the shockwave of? But yeah, I'm not trusting this map already. Looking at it, you know, them white flashes shown on the older one. You can't see anything like that on here. There's this one. This one, the upgrade to hide what's going on. I would expect to see lines like we're seeing, transmissions like we're seeing on the other map here, but nothing shown, is it?
yeah, the other one's quite clear.
Yeah. This is a nicer map. I like the map, but yeah, it's not showing what we need to be looking at. So I think if they upgrade to this one, the old one ain't going to be there very long. So if anyone's researching this, go back to that site and start grabbing this data from the archive for recent. You can go back to 2010 with that. You know, look at certain dates, earthquake event times, things like that, and see if there's anything shown on here.
Yeah,
That's what I'll be looking at now.
we should be able to get the Japan earthquake then too.
From there to the top right of Australia, look where my cursor is. Look here.
See the
There, see it?
color range.
You see that there? That looked like a transmission.
The other map as well. That blue area in the middle between
Is it?
30.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any of this on that newer version. So it looks like it's hiding it. Or it's filtered it out somehow.
Oh yeah, there they use actually the GPS map. That's that's what you can convert into the triple square.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting how they use the real map.
Yeah, it's all coming from raw data. They just deform it into the GPS version, or just cut off the data area above certain latitudes, and just to hide north and south.
Yeah.
What
got
the
this-
real extent it is actually.
Yeah, they got the south well hidden in this one.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not there. Is there anything else you want to say?
Karen, thanks. You can stop presenters now if you want.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
I look forward to the links there.
out of artists, Aaron and Stan, who wants to go next?
I'm still uploading at the sec, so someone else can crack on.
I can fill a couple of minutes.
Artist is next then, and then we'll do Aaron, and then we'll do Stan. Is that all right? Artist, Aaron, then Stan, and then Ceres.
All right, by me.
Artist, it's all yours.
Okay, I've done some more investigation in all newspapers, and most of the flat Earth because I was searching other things, and I found out that certain things were very interesting about the flat earth in newspapers. So I went to a lot of newspapers, also Dutch newspapers, to find certain things. For some reason, my sharing device doesn't work. Oh my god.
Hang on, we always have a bit of technical.
Maybe if I re-log in really quick, then it's gone.
Okay, then. Go for it, Artis.
Just a couple of seconds.
We've always got to have that bit of technical, haven't we? Here he comes back.
No, it still doesn't work.
Shall we come back to you, Artis, and you...
Yeah, I will sort it out, because for some reason I can't share anything.
Aaron, do you mind going next then?
Sure. All right. Hello, hello.
Hello, Aaron.
So let me try. I'll try sharing as well. See if it works. Getting that?
Yeah. Yeah, we can see that, Aaron.
All right, so I am still making some progress on Project Lumen. So I wanted to just kind of...
Do you want to explain to Rich, Thrive and Survive, what it is, Aaron?
Okay, yeah. So basically, Project Lumen is an initiative that I've been working on for quite a number of years, most of my life. The basic idea is to create solutions for the world. Also, it has to do with identifying the problems and also addressing the problems. So basically, there's a number of initiatives that we're trying to kind of collect and organize, some of which are kind of identifying the problems, putting together evidence and sort of cases against some of these establishment organizations, and then the other main part of it is the solutions themselves, which are varied and very broad, and so it deals with various things. I'll go through it here. This is just a little bit of, so I just kind of threw this up. So here's the mission statement. I'll go ahead and read it. It says, Project Lumen is dedicated to directing the manifestation of a sovereign Earth nation that will use the highest application of technology, the transparent and open collaboration of its tribe, and our mutual observation of the world and natural law in order to guide ourselves into the realization of a truly free and open society. So sign up here, and then these are just a very quick, this is not complete yet, but just to kind of get an idea, I put some of the problems and solutions on here. And what I'll be doing is basically using this. You'll be able to click on these, which will take you to a dedicated page for each one, and there'll be a lot more. And that will basically be the update. If you ever want to find out what's going on, I'll try to update everything. And also, this is going to be sort of a place where we'll organize, so people will be able to log in here, and it'll be a sort of a small little social network, but more like a project management portal, where we will be figuring out what are the different parts of these different projects, and you know, who can do what, who has various resources, and yeah, and then basically we will just proceed. I was thinking that we should be having daily meetings with some teams. So basically there'll be kind of this structure of the whole collective, the whole group will be working towards sort of all these common goals, and then There'll be individual smaller teams that will break away that will be focused on their specific areas, and we'll all work together, and then we'll keep the smaller teams smaller so that we can ultimately be more productive and efficient that way.
Can I just explain that to Rick? That basically Aaron's trying to form a different future for us, basically turning our back on what and on the system we've got now. So this is what Aaron's doing. But
I'm all for that. That's for sure. This system is horrible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, it is horrible, and it's and we're at a point now, I believe, that there's enough people that are aware of how bad it is, and there's enough people that want to take action to help make it better. And so this is really that. I am presenting this. I'm inviting everyone. I've been really connecting with as many different thought leaders and flat Earth leaders and various other groups to make a collaborative environment where we are very consciously working together in cooperation and collaboration, and devoid of all drama, and we are just focused on the problems and the solutions. And there'll be some groups that'll be more inclined, they have a lot of evidence and a lot of cases against these various establishments, and then there's other groups that are more geared towards the actual technology and various systems that will enable us to really work together in efficient ways, enable us. Another major aspect that's just kind of recently coming out of this is flatempire.com, which is going to be this, where basically the initiative there is to really make flat Earth mainstream. Since I'm here in Los Angeles, and I've been connecting with, I've been doing a number of various documentaries and things, connecting with a lot of producers and kind of film, TV people. So we're looking at basically, we were just talking yesterday about creating an actual conference/award show every year out here in LA, and just really putting a lot into that to make it big, to get the press here, to get other documentary crews coming in here and see what's going on, and really even just kind of make. I worked at the Grammys for 2 years, so I'm going to use all of those skills that I learned and understandings about how an award show even works, and how to make it big, and how to really put on a production that will attract much more than just flat earthers. We're really going for mainstream here, and so I think doing that combined with a lot of other initiatives. I think just in a couple of weeks, Mark Sargent's coming down to LA, and so we're all going to have a huge meetup here. And then we just did this thing a couple weeks ago where we went out to the Santa Monica Pier, and we picketed. Basically, we started telling people, just telling people the Earth is flat, and it was such fun and such, I'd say, success, because we probably converted at least 10 people that we knew of while we were doing that, and a lot of people saw what we were doing, were thinking about it. So we're going to keep on doing that, and we're going to make it bigger and bigger. So, and this will tie back into Project Lumen and all these various initiatives, in order to really make this a big network that is sort of a collective of a lot of smaller networks, all the groups that do want to work together, not just flat Earth, but so we're trying to make it more broad. So we're bringing in people who really see the problems, have some of the solutions. Blockchain, cryptocurrencies are a big part of this. And actually, I've been meeting with Wakey, Mark Knight, and we're actually planning on having a hangout here probably either this week or next week, probably next week, where we're going to dispel a lot of the rumors and the uncertainties about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. And we're actually going to we are working on a coin called Iron Coin, So I can pull that up here. Let's see. So this is Iron Revolution, and there's a lot of parts to this. Iron Coin, which would be a primary cryptocurrency, and then there's going to be a sort of software framework that would allow for a lot of these other platforms to be built on open source, decentralized, blockchain-based technologies. Because I see that blockchain is really it's the new internet. You could almost say it's the biggest thing since the internet, and it's really going to revolutionize things. It already is, and so I really want to use this in conjunction with all these other projects to make it so that it's truly owned by the public. It's truly decentralized, so that there's no longer the problem of having to trust centralized authorities with your data or with these ideas, or whether they're going to let us put things on a social network like YouTube or Facebook. You know, there's been a lot of censorship going on, and so that's a real issue. That's really, in my mind, I see as the biggest war that's going on right now, because a lot of these things are reaching a sort of critical mass. And so now is the time to really ensure that we have the vehicle or the platform for which to continue growing this, as well as organize it. So now, instead of just saying, you know, go do your own research on YouTube, you can say, here's a specific page to, let's say, another one I've been working on is called Zetetic Reality, which will be really the archives of all the experiments and all of the conclusions and all of the evidence pointing one way or another, and then even the summarized proofs, sort of like elaborate memes that you could post a link to one of these pages, and it would just give you the sort of the proof, the evidence, the sources that you need to present your case to someone who's just coming on to maybe flat Earth, or even other conspiracies, or even just our new understandings of science and cosmology and how this reality is actually working. And so all these initiatives, all these projects, and I actually do, I'll just show you Zetetic Reality real quick here too. Good quote. So I don't know how well my my time lapse is going to work here. Let's see. But check it out. Maybe it'll look a little more fluid for you. But this is, again, all these sites I've been kind of throwing up pretty quickly just to get some things out there. I'm enlisting some help to figure out some of this content, and this is what I had set up for the eclipse. We had some success. There's a form that was to track the location of the sun and moon on the eclipse. Of course, the moon was nowhere to be seen, as we all know. We got some of those results, but this is just kind of a teaser, a basic beginning of what we could do as a very adaptable, complex data gathering engine. We could even build it into an app where then, you know, you're able to take the picture, it'll record the elevation azimuth right there for you. Just make it a little easier for people to be documenting some of these data points. And then that would go straight into the database that then all the researchers could just pull from immediately. And so I know, you know, the Sun and Moon group, you guys have been working on a lot of this already. So, you know, I'd really love to be able to bring that data in and then collaborate with you guys on how to better collect more diverse data all throughout the world. Yeah.
Cool, brilliant. Well, you know that we're working together, aren't we? So it's cool. It's brilliant.
So those are the main projects, and I guess there's not really much on flat empire yet here. But we want Flat Earth TV, so that's part of how we're going to go mainstream here. Is we're going to create an actual network, television network, that will be producing 24/7 Flat Earth programming.
That is awesome.
And
yay!
so, yeah, this is going to be part of the. This is all going to tie into this conference. Right now, we're shooting for maybe January, February of next year to be the first one. And, you know, ideally, we'd even have the kind of budget where we could fly out some of you guys and various big names to be a part of it, to do some presentations, to, you know, participate in the awards ceremony. And that's kind of just...
Aaron, I think some of the chat room have just seen Flat Empire, Flat Earth TV, and they're going whoop, whoop, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
Chat room.
Yeah, it's great. Like, you know, we need it, right? We need it. We need something to really represent this in the mainstream, and we'll get to the mainstream. I mean, I'm practically there. You know, I've met a number of people. A lot of the LA flat earthers know people. And so we really just need to put together the plan, and we're going to do some crowdfunding. We're going to do a campaign for some of these coins in order to just really, you know, and a lot of this funding can also go to your guys' projects as well. And that's what I want to offer up, and we'll figure this out, that you know, everything's going to be transparent, so that, and even to the point where people will be able to contribute to specific projects. And that's kind of like our new vote is, you know, what do you want to see happen? What changes do you want to help contribute towards? And it's not just money, you know, you could contribute your time and resources of all kinds. So, you know, that's kind of the vision, and I'm hoping to move pretty quickly with it, so that in the next few weeks, we'll actually have some of these campaigns launching, and getting maybe a date established for this conference. And of course, we'll be having these meetups, and we're going to try to make it a regular practice of just infiltrating various groups that are out here that don't necessarily have anything to do with Flat Earth, but when, you know, 20, 30 Flat Earthers show up to their whatever it is, then they're going to start thinking about it. They're going to start wondering why there's so many Flat Earthers here. So, you know, we really want to take an active stance and really be pushing out a lot of these truths, inviting people to collaborate, work on some solutions to really help onboard these newcomers that are just discovering these ideas for the first time. I think that's really key, because there are some well-known YouTubers and various resources, but nothing's really just like the canonical resource that we can all just refer to. And I think the only way that's really going to happen is if we all work together on it, and we can come to agreements about what the evidence is showing, and what that tells us. And, you know, we always have to be flexible about if new evidence presents itself that contradicts our previous understandings. Of course, we need to look at that, and we need to discuss it, and, you know, revise things when necessary. And I think as long as we commit to that, which this is going to be a part of all of this, that this is actually going to be sort of written into our into the blockchain, into our decree as an organization of what we stand for, and our sort of moral principles that we abide by. Then, yeah, we'll succeed, and this will continue, I believe, for quite a long time, if not forever, because now we have a solution that allows us to sort of honestly look at the reality that we're in and the situation that we have, and do something about it. And if anything problematic ever arises in the future, we just apply these same principles of being organized and having teams that are dedicated to work with those problems and create the solutions.
Well, I can tell you this is the most hopeful thing that I've seen to date. I mean, this is what really gives me joy, is to see something like this, because this is something like this is what we need to change society from going down the toilet totally. Anything I can do to help you with it, we need to get in contact, Aaron. If you want my help, I'll do what I can. Have you been in contact at all with Robbie Davidson at Celebrate Truth?
No.
Okay,
No,
the reason why I bring his name up is he is an expert in cryptocurrencies.
Oh.
And he's also in the radio medium as far as advertising, things like that. And he's the one that's organized this this Flat Earth group get together in North Carolina that's coming in November. And
Right.
he's been able to generate a whole ton of media interest. I don't know how he's done it, but he has. And it just might be a good resource for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got that written down. I actually have been trying a little bit to get a hold of him, but that's good. I didn't even know he had his name, so because I was wanting to talk to him about that conference. So yeah, that's great. I didn't know he was into crypto as well, so that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can't get a hold of him, just let me know, because
Okay.
I've got his contact information directly. But we got to get. If you could send me a PM to my YouTube channel, Aaron.
Okay.
I'll send you my private email address, and yeah, I'd really this does my heart good. This right here, it really does.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean that does my heart good to hear you say that.
Oh, good. Yeah, this is where we need to go. We need to not just present the truth that's out there, but help pull society out before it totally goes down the abyss.
Absolutely.
Also, Aaron, it's a little bit to sort out things like NASA and stuff, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. And I don't. Yeah, I just was throwing some stuff up. But yeah, these fraudulent space agencies. There's a lot more problems and a lot more solutions that I'll be getting up on here, and a lot more details of it all. But yeah, absolutely, it's going to be addressing the space agencies, the military, and this is worldwide. So NASA is huge part of this. The Fed is a huge part of this. Monsanto is a huge part of this. But then there's other organizations as well, and so it's really going to be a worldwide initiative. I mean, here we are. This group right now is quite worldwide. So, there we go. We're already working at the world scale, and I think that just shows how much. I mean, there's been so many people that have been reaching out to me just from the little bit of exposure I've had with this already. There's a lot of people that are feeling these same urges to make some changes and to be involved. Everyone wants to do something, but we haven't really known what to do. And I'm proposing this is what we do. We organize, we come together, we form projects, we manage these projects. We start at the beginning, we take baby steps until we have achieved our goals. And it might take 100 years, it might take 1 year, we don't know, doesn't matter. What matters is that we come together, organize, and we start, we begin.
Yeah, getting started is half the job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is fantastic. And I'm in Phoenix, too, so it's not like I'm on the other side of the world from you.
Great.
I love that idea of Flat Earth TV. What a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So do I.
Yeah, we need to reprogram people.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that blows a breath of fresh air into it, I tell you. And I think the sooner the better. I really do feel that we are on the edge, in this country in particular. I don't know about the rest of the world, but we're on the edge in this country of going off the wrong side really fast. And it's because everybody's been sucked into the lie of everything. Everything's a lie. And they just keep ripping us apart. And so it's stuff like this that I think if people are exposed to enough truth and they finally get it, they'll get that we need to say to the Federal Reserve and to everybody that controls us, you know, we don't give you the authority anymore in our life to rule us. We don't recognize you as authority, and we can have our own cryptocurrencies and our own ways of doing things, and we just take the power away from them nice and gently without a shot fired, because we take their power away from, you know, we can do like they used to do. You know, people in the prairie in this country, when they were crossing, everybody pitched in and helped one another. They didn't need a currency system to get things done. And this is a mixture, I think, of both, the best of both worlds, where you got people coming together for a common good. You know, and you do eventually have to have some medium of trade or whatever. And it looks like you've got the whole picture put together. And Big Pharma, I mean, we could talk about this for 3 or 4 hours at least,
Right.
which you've got right on the screen here, because it all fits together perfectly. It's all one big machine to achieve their goal of getting down to 500,000 people in the world, really, when you look at it in the big enough picture. That's what all of this is. And to control us 100% of the way until they get us there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In legalese, there is a lot to explore as well,
Mhm.
as in that they call it secret, but it's only kind of hidden because we never study it. It's
Right.
too complex, too this, all the excuses to never actually realize what is happening there. And in the meanwhile, it is a kind of a silent consent, because we never actually give our own what do you call that? If you're not claiming you're over 18, they deem you a minor still. So you need to claim your adulthood, and if you don't do that, it is for them the silent consent. So
Right.
for them, it is they have all the rights, because they have given you the fair chance in that sense. But yeah, that fair chance is spilled by never telling you the actual rules happening.
Right. And so a big part of this, I'm showing now on my screen, this is some notes that I was taking. These are kind of the problem.
Can I just say one thing, that Chris Monk's joined us on the Hangout. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Welcome.
Howdy, Chris.
Hey, all.
Hello, dude.
My new neighbor soon.
Yo,
Yo.
Very cool.
We are partly way through this, but Aaron's just showing his Project Lumen and some other things to change, so that we basically turn our back on what we've been given and we go a different way.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that for a second.
Carry on. Carry on.
So, if anyone has any questions about this or any comments as they're reading through it, just spit them out. But one of the main intentions here of Project Lumen, it's light-based technologies, right? So we're bringing light technology to the world, and because of that, in this way, we don't want to oppose. We don't want to oppose with force in any way the system that is, because when we do that, they're going to push back. So a very strong intention that we all need to hold with this is that we are creating solutions that are alternatives, and we are shedding light on the crimes and the injustices that have been going on, and we are essentially presenting a case to the public, to the people of Earth. So rather than thinking, oh, we're going to take down NASA, which is a great fun thought, but we're going to run into a lot of resistance with that thought form. Whereas if we look at it more like we are putting together a massive case against NASA and all the other space agencies and all those responsible for the geoengineering and all the other crimes that they've committed, we are putting that together as a case, a publicly accessible set of evidence that then we can direct people to, and ultimately we get enough people on board with this, and especially the alternatives and the solutions. We never need to oppose these organizations; they will just fall of their own accord. And yeah, there will be probably justice that will need to be served at some point. However, we can't even really consider that too much, because the justice, right, if we were trying to serve justice right now, it would be through the current legalese system, like Ceres is talking about. You know, they'll work through it. They already have that on lockdown. So, you know, what we need to do is almost create a new system that then will hold them responsible and will be able to sort of serve that justice in a way that, you know, isn't going to perpetuate the old system, the old paradigm that we've been enslaved in. So, for example, you know, rather than prison, we have rehabilitation, where it actually works, and it's based on the healing processes of, you know, there's a lot of trauma why people end up in prison. But then there's also this psychopathic disorder that's going on, and we can't just put those people in like a category and just say, oh, you know, we'll push them off the edge of the flat earth. We have to like deal with that as a problem as well. These people are here, and ultimately, you know, we have to kind of like build this system so that it is a sort of force to be reckoned with, but mostly because it's a peaceful oriented force. And we are completely peace driven, and that is our central desire, is to enable peace to reign on earth. And I think as long as we hold that vision and we are mature about it, more mature than they have been, then this will work, because the majority will come on board with us and join us in this initiative. Even, you know, the military generals that have seen the wrongdoings and not felt right about it, but had no other choice. You know, even maybe
a lot of people in the prisons shouldn't be in prison. They need some kind of counselling, and they need other help, and they just stuff them into prison.
Mm-hmm.
They just obviously don't know what to do with them, do they? Because there's nothing set up to help these people.
Right. I mean, I think it's like 70% of people in the United States that are in prison are for marijuana.
Yeah, the system is built this way. And that's the whole thing here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, which is why we need to build a new system that's built differently, and that's going to be it's going to be popular because it's based on the good nature of human beings, not the greedy nature, which is really what I think the current system is tailoring to.
You got that right. That's exactly it right there.
Yeah.
So can we program in an avoidance system for paralysis by analysis, and take an approach of countermeasures that are peaceful countermeasures to use the weapons that are being used against us in forms of good, turn them around, figure out ways to you know, filter the air and turn it into energy systems by using the nanoparticles and aluminum that are there to make batteries, that type of stuff.
Absolutely. So kind of cleaning up, and as well as counteracting how would you say that?
Well, peaceful countermeasures and peaceful reverse engineering sciences that'll, you know, if we know if we have evidence that the skies are being chemtrailed and they're using, say, barium and strontium and aluminum sulfides and so forth, which are, you know, microwave particulates. They're also very good for building capacitors out of, right? So if you can filter the air to clean the air as it comes into your home and gather that stuff and then use it to make a product, right?
Right.
Make it profitable to clean it up.
Excellent. Use their own weaponry against us for good.
Precisely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, scalar wave technology is actually very powerful, and you can actually, I've known, you guys are familiar with Drunvalo Melchizedek, but he put together something just using like a 9-volt battery that was apparently cleaning up a massive radius of the air around it, just by attaching this thing to a tree. But apparently what he said is that the military would sense this device being activated, and they would go and remove them. But there is those kinds of technologies, absolutely, using their same kinds of, you know, I mean, where there is drought, you know, we could generate rain. where there is a hurricane, we could use some of these technologies to counteract that. And that's a huge part of this case is like, well, they have the technology to minimize a hurricane, so why are they not using it? You know,
Yes,
and that's
I agree.
the answer for. And then and if they're not going to use it, then we need to have access to this technology so we can use it to counteract these. Of course, we all know they're probably created artificially in the first place. But yeah, I really like that.
Aaron, I did see one video. I did see one video about Australia, and what it was is all the rain kept going in the sea. So they used HARP to bring the rain over and rain on the crops in Australia. Now, if they were using it for things like that and just keeping it to things like that and helping out the world, we wouldn't mind. But they're not. They're using it against us. They're creating many things to kill people.
Right.
Knowing that they've got all that technology and allowing, then they could have helped with those hurricanes, and they didn't. They made sure it was just disastrous.
Well, it's all funneled so that the financial aspects of it are to the greatest gain for those who are in charge. There's a lot of money in disasters, a lot of money in military. All these things that he's bringing up, the pharmaceutical, you know, if they make people sick, there's money to be made. If they flood people's houses, there's money to be made, and on and on and on.
Why aren't we taught that we need like negative ions out of the ground? We need to put our feet on the ground. There's just other things that we need. Like the sun is good for us. Maybe you don't want to be out in it all day, but the sun rays are good for you. Why aren't we taught these things? We're taught the sun is bad for you. It just goes, everything's the wrong way round.
Yeah, it really is. So this is why we need to act now. You know, I mean, it really is. It's a part of a sick agenda that they've been acting out. And the reason, like, I forget who was saying it, you know, our compliance has been our silence. And so here we're not being silent anymore. Let's speak up. Let's stand up. Let's, you know, create teams and organizations that can actually act as representatives, real representatives for the people in these various areas. And that's part of the Flat Earth TV as well. Is going to be, you know, a source of truth, a real source of news, because flat earthers are the best researchers there are, from what I've seen. So, you know, that's where the real news is going to come from. Is really, and that's going to be trustworthy because you already know that we are, you know, we're presenting these things which are not popular ideas, but we're not worried about the popularity. We're focused on getting the truth out there, and the popularity will come with time, and we will spread it, we will market it, we'll get it out there. However, it's still going to take that tipping point, that critical mass to really really get, I'd say, the majority of people on board.
So you've been working on the peer-to-peer thing too, Aaron, is that correct? To get off basically so that whatever we develop for an ICO that's, you know, whether it's Flat Earth Coin or whatever, I noticed that China is starting to ban ICOs, and so are the IMF. They're going to come down hard on that to prevent individual ICOs or sovereign coins for an individual. Are we looking at a way to develop peer-to-peer that's isolatable from the actual network? So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, this would all be based on peer-to-peer meshes, even kind of a new sort of internet that would be based on a distributed mesh, based on the peer-to-peer technology.
Something that's crash-proof. Something that's crash-proof and can't be just unplugged, right? So
right, crash-proof, corruption-proof, all that good stuff. So that's, you know. And my whole my personal plan with all this is to kind of build it, get it going, and then release it into the public domain. And I'm here to ensure that it makes it into the public domain, in that, you know, I won't be the president of it or CEO of it. Instead, I'll just be the one who made sure that it became a purely public-owned organization. And part of the peer-to-peer technologies will sort of continue that and make it so it'll solidify that. So then there couldn't be anyone else that would come in and try to make it a centralized phenomenon and control it.
really sad thing is that you're always going to get pockets of people fighting and all that. You will have that. But generally, the people are not fighting. This is just ridiculous. The people are not fighting.
Right. Yeah, no, the wars are completely ridiculous. And that's almost one of the biggest initiatives as well, is just to help people wake up to that, because it's so, you know, this murder is not right. It doesn't matter how you spin it, it's not right. And so the fact that they're brainwashing soldiers and what's that?
They're just ruining the lovely place we live in.
Exactly. In many ways, yeah. And, you know, we could probably get it back in the next 20, 30 years, I believe, with technology. And if we really were able to come together and start using technology in ways to restore the beauty of Earth, and having sustainable technologies that work in harmony with Earth, then I don't think it'll take that long. And I'm definitely up for it. And I know there's a lot of others that are. And so, you know, I'm focusing on the vision. I'm focusing on just making it happen and what it's going to entail. And that way, even though there's all this negative, bad stuff that's going on, you know, and we need to be aware of it, but we don't need to get bogged down on it, because this is still a beautiful world, and it can be a much, much more beautiful world if we really just all commit to this, bring our minds together and our hearts together, and just make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, the more negative stuff that's going on is the impetus that I think will make it happen a lot faster than what you're projecting.
Yeah, it's possible.
Just
I hope so.
hate each other, aren't they? It's all about hating each other.
Yeah,
Not about working together.
What are your guys'? What's your general thought on like an open source wiki page that's basically for all the research that flat earthers do in the sciences, so we can develop a curriculum for self-education and stuff that's based on truth, like a wiki page that's open sourced, and so you can have like pages that are based on the science of growing food, you know, all these topics, and have a wiki page dedicated so we can maintain it, and free access and open source, right?
That is Zetetic reality. So the idea I have is Zetetic coin is another coin, and the idea here is to be able to create a sort of a blockchain or peer-to-peer based wiki that will be open source, and people will be rewarded as they find evidence or truth that turns out to be more correct based on all this corroboration. Then you know, they would receive Zetetic coins. So that's their incentive.
Right, so as they contribute and verify articles and do their source confirmation and research to actually verify the wiki database, and they're getting paid to do it with Zetetic coins, correct? Is that
exactly? Yeah. So we're basically, you're going to be paid researchers, paid scientists, paid journalists, and bringing that all into one sort of wiki that then will have the various main sections. And it will be focused to a lot of this truth-oriented stuff. We could maybe make some sort of encyclopedia later on that's, you know, like Wikipedia, but this will be very specific to the cosmological truths that we uncover, and it'll have all of the experiments all the way back to, you know, hundreds of years ago that we can document, along with every video that's related, and so just compiling everything to a singular resource, so that people can just use that as a tool to help awaken others and help show people the proofs and evidence and the current understandings that we are coming up with.
excellent?
Yeah.
You can't see me, but I'm smiling. I like that idea. Great minds think alike, right? That's awesome.
Right.
I mean, Chris, one day, tears in your eyes when you realized all this information, and you just thought, what a waste of time. We could have been doing these things years ago and helping everybody. And you nearly cried, you had tears in your eyes when you were saying that.
Yeah, no, there's been some profound moments for sure. Absolutely. I sat on a think tank for about a year and a half for, well, now it's probably one of the world's largest engineering companies. And this is way back in 2010, so what was it, almost 8 years ago now. But there was a team of engineers, and I was on this team and as a consultant, and that's what we were doing. We were think tanking and projecting to the year 2030, right? Communications technology, what's going to be required, and so I mean, they've been doing it already, so we got some catching up to do. So, but it was a wiki database type of system. So that's why I was wondering what Aaron was thinking on doing in that regard, right? I like the idea of tying it into where the contributors are rewarded and paid for the effort, right? So it's not just voluntary services, because then they can be corrupted, right? Nobody cares after a while because it's all free anyway, right? But if people are rewarded for the truth, right, then it's an incentive to be double checking. You could have a credit, if you verify a source or de-verify a source, or you find like a pattern where there's contributors that are constantly trying to undermine the system with false information, misinformation, they're also rewarded for ousting that too, right? And cleaning up the system. So it's a self-correcting entity, right? That's the key to that.
Right, and we can use the, the stake that people would have as well. So as they become really renowned researchers, then they start sort of developing a credibility and a clout within this system, and then they're able to that they have a stake now, and so now their word is sort of like it's not the only word, but it's placed at a higher importance, and this will be a way to kind of prevent it. As we go along, it'll be harder and harder for people to come in and corrupt the system.
So you have like a weighted average vetting process. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud to be here with you guys. I really am.
So, Aaron, are you actually in LA or in the suburbs?
I am in LA. I'm pretty much just outside of Santa Monica.
Okay. Traffic central?
Yeah, but I don't drive. I just walk.
Gotcha.
So. But I get almost run over every time I walk. So yeah, traffic.
Okay. How long have you been?
Oh, sorry. Carry on, Rich. Carry on.
I was just gonna say, how long you've been doing, looking into this and thinking about doing this, Aaron?
I originally had this idea probably 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. I've been the various technologies for at least 10, 15 years. But I've been building up a lot of concepts. I even have a lot more that I haven't even presented that will come later. A lot of this stuff is just the initial projects that are going to kind of give us a lot of websites and applications that'll allow us to do a lot more things. Because I actually, my real passion is in hardware. And so I'm looking forward to getting a lot of these things going so that then I can really dig into some various hardware projects that will help with sustainable living technologies and communications and energy and all of these things that require a lot more resource and funding to be able to even experiment with. But yeah, this has been pretty much my life's purpose all along, and that's why I've learned a lot of these things that I have. As far as how to build web applications and how to manage projects and really make things happen. Even just the sort of the art of manifestation using the mind is a big thing that I've studied.
Well, like I said, make sure you send me a PM, because this is right up my alley. This gives me something to look forward to do.
Awesome. Absolutely will do. And
you said 20 years. What? You come to this when you were like 8 years old? You don't look like you're that old.
No, I'm 38. So.
Okay. Well, you've been thinking about it a long time.
Yeah, and actually, I've probably been doing this since the first time I even had the thought was probably when I was like 16.
Wow.
So yeah, a little longer than 20.
A person ahead of your time.
Yeah. Well, finally, when the flat Earth started really making it big, just like 2 years ago, is when I really started seeing this as, okay, that's when I started the meetup in Los Angeles, and that's led to me meeting a lot of people. That's where a lot of these producers have found me. So I'm just kind of synchronistically getting put into this spotlight in this situation where I can kind of be a representative for a lot of these movements, and I'm willing to. You know, I've actually I love the idea of using film and music. I'm actually a musician as well, to really get the truth out there and open people's minds, I think, more rapidly than practically anything else. So that's another project. You know, there's Flat Earth TV, but then there's really just, you might say, a whole network that will be producing music and film and shows that will be along these lines and be free of the corruption that's in Hollywood and the music industry. So people don't have to sell their souls to the devil in order to, you know, have a hit song.
Now, have you looked at something like what is it called, D-Chain or D-Tube, I think is what it's called? What the sort of platform you would use to, like, people that would upload all these videos and things you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I might know what you're talking about with D2. There's a few things. There's a lot of technologies, and so one of the main components of Ironcoin will be that it's it'd actually be Iron Framework, and it will be leveraging all of these other blockchain technologies. So rather than reinventing the wheel, we will be just standing on the shoulders of these various technologies, and especially Bitcoin, but also Ethereum, and then a lot of the other ones that are providing different kind of niche tools that then will bring all that into a more centralized web application and mobile app. And that way it'll be able to come out a lot faster. There'll be a lot less maintenance on our part, and then we're kind of supporting the community already by rather than just building, you know, something that's just going to try to, like, step on the toes of these pre-existing technologies. We'll work with them. So there's a number of.
Does that mean like Flat Earth News? Flat Earth News.
Oh yeah.
News or cover up news or lying news, but Flat Earth News.
Right, or Flat No Spin.
Yes.
No spin zone for Flat Earth.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else you want to say, or because we can always come back to this once we finish the presentations. If Thrive or Rich wants to talk about anything, we can come back. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think that's my piece for now. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, you know, you can get a hold of me on Facebook's probably easiest. I can spit out my email too. Here, why don't I just pop that on here?
Put your YouTube channel in the description. All the people on here, well, except Chris, because he's joined us a little bit later, but I'll put Chris on there as well. All the links are on the description of this hangout. With any one of these people on here, you can go to their YouTube channels.
Okay.
Or Joe was going to ask you, and I think I might have sent you a PM too on Facebook there.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of briefly talking about the Airfly app, but it's where you can map cell phones to, like, two individual or 3 cell phones to each cell phone and get the coordinates and their elevations, and so it's like a field, like a bitmap, a 3-dimensional bitmap. Just each cell phone is just a white dot in the 3 to 4D space, right? So you can actually get a topological map of where they're located relative to themselves. So it's not based on GPS, but phone to phone.
Right.
To kind of get a real life map.
Right.
Your thoughts were on an app, and if anybody can develop an app to do that, it would actually help us map the field itself using the people. Right, the people are the map.
So far, I figure the only thing I don't know is how do you make a connection to another phone? Is that through Wi-Fi?
Yeah, Wi-Fi ping. Wi-Fi ping and measure the distance. Time. It'd have to be a time like a time delay stamp, right? You Wi-Fi another phone that responds, and then measure the time between the two, and then triangulate.
One idea I've had that I believe would work is to go and aggregate all the flight time data from all these different sources, and then put that into a program that would basically reverse engineer the relative locations of these various cities and airports based on the flight times and the average flight times, because that would, it's completely devoid of satellite imagery or and it would sort of start forming over time. It would start forming the actual relative even angles and distances of the major cities, and through that we could kind of try to figure out, well, how does that line up with the map, and how are they? My theory is that they're taking whatever it is and they're modifying it and into what we see on Google Earth, or just in general, all these maps. I don't know that we have a real map that they've given us, right. But I think we could discern that through just various things, and like what Ceres is doing, and various others have been doing, collecting all this data. But fundamentally, I think the airplane thing would work really well because you can't really argue with that. You can't really. It's not speculative. It's based on just, well, here it is. Here's the data. It's raw data that would give us a pretty objective look at that.
Yeah, I thought about the airplane thing as well.
Yeah.
The only thing I was thinking on that might be a bit of a hard, might be the echo there.
Hang on a minute, feedback there. I'll turn mine off, see if it's me.
Yeah, the thing I was trying to get away from is you have to isolate from any GPS coordinate system or Bayesian type of Cartesian coordinate system, and so I was trying to make it so that each cell phone would just be relative to each cell phone. So wherever you are is where you are relative to the entire K system. So it's like vector mathematics, right? So it's devoid of any tie back to any north poles or any magnetic fields or any GPS. It's just phone to phone to phone, bit to bit. So it's just a solid 4D space.
Right, and with
each phone is relative to time, right? Just relative to time itself between the two.
Right. Yeah, but then you might have an inconsistency because the speed of light is not necessarily the same. So there might be some inconsistencies there. But yeah, I think that would be, these two would work really well in conjunction. The nice thing about the flight times is we can just go get that data right now. There's a number of sources that give it. And plus, we wouldn't have to make any assumptions about GPS, or we basically just say, all right, there's a plane taking off from LA and it's going to Hawaii. How long did that take? And how long did these 1,000 flights take? And then we don't even know the direction yet, but it's based on really computing all of these different flight times relative to each other. We start actually seeing spatial relationships. So we're not making any assumptions about GPS or coordinates. We're reverse engineering that.
Yeah. Based on time. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. GPS itself is also a deformed version of what reality is. The GPS map at the double square, the longitude is still intact, but the latitude is completely distorted.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem with the UGS 1984 and all that stuff, or WGS 1984, is it's all based to a fictional center of gravity that doesn't exist, right? It's all, they call it GPS as in global, but it's actually gravitational differential positioning system is how that's actually working. The science of it.
Well, I discovered that the center magnetic line, what is connected between north and south, is actually going through the 0.0 point in the magnetic data.
Which is it's a fictional point of gravity. Yeah.
So, I figured that they choose that part because of the magnetic data as well. the zero, how do you call that? You have in the north two polarities, and in the south two polarities, but the link between north and south is only through two of them, one in north, one in south, and exactly the touching point between north and south is at that 0.0 point. At least as far as I can see it close up. I need to show that.
Okay, should we we can come back to this and talk about this afterwards, but should we go to the next person? Should we go to Artist now? Artist, it's all yours.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. What I want to show, if it works, is it showing?
It is.
Okay, thanks. What I want to first point out is I did a lot of research in all kinds of newspapers. I was first researching about ancient structures, then I stumbled on some flat earth mentions in that same newspaper. Then I thought, well, let's research on flat earth in old newspaper. This is from 1905, and this is about basically a flat earth theory. Of the Clement weather last night, there was a large attendance at the lecture of the First Baptist Church. It was held under the auspices of the Men's Union of the Church. Besides members, there were several students present who listened with a great deal of interest to the speaker, Mr. Noel. In a very scientific manner by many facts that the Earth is a plane and not a globe. He proved his theory with several sketches, besides showing his listeners several demonstrations that went to show that the world was not a globe. There were numbers of questions asked, but the speaker answered them all in a way which seemed satisfactory for all. Refreshments were served after the lecture, but it basically tells you that there was a guy named Urban Noel, and he explained with a demonstration back in 1905 exactly that the Earth was a flat plane, and he could answer all the questions with satisfactory. So even back in the 1900s, there were people who could clearly explain that the Earth was flat, and that's why all newspapers are very handy. It was in the St. John's Daily Sun, October the 20th in 1905. The next thing, Chris pointed that one
That's
out
cool.
for me.
That's a Canadian paper too. That's cool. Manitoba. Yeah.
Your point is about all this, Artist, is that this didn't happen hundreds and hundreds of years ago. There's the year 1900.
Yeah, this is the 1900. That one, the last one was from. It is a Canadian newspaper, and other newspapers also, but I'm now doing American and Canadian and a little bit of Dutch newspapers, and I'm going to do German newspapers, French newspapers, other countries. But basically here stays the one Chris Moyne found. Says the Earth is round, and he sent into prison and did some research, and basically this is about that if you taught in a high school about the flat Earth, you could be sent to prison or get a heavy fine, because in the there was stating that if you taught about the globe Earth at school, you could be sent to jail or get a huge fine, because in the law there was stating that Earth was flat, and if you taught otherwise at the school, you could be sent to jail or get a heavy fine. And that was in 1900, so if it was still in the law, you know that some people say, yeah, the flat Earth theory is about the globe Earth theory is about 500 years old. No, it isn't, because it was still in the law back then. So they lied. I also found another one in a newspaper, the Victoria Advocate, March 7, 2020, but it was telling about a history subject. Mr. L.M. Boyd did a revisited subject about old things in the newspaper from around 1900, and basically was about President Jackson believed in a flat Earth. Two of the President Andrew Jackson personal convictions were that the integrity of man was a basic, and two, that the Earth was flat and not round. So this is basically saying very clear that the Earth is even the even the President Andrew Jackson had a belief that the Earth was flat. So that's another one that you can clearly see that. And here I have another newspaper. This is it's a little bit small. It's a Wainwright Star from 1961. There's also an L section about the flat Earth over here. The story contains a statement of Mr. Samuel Section, the secretary of the Flat Earth Society, and he basically is an whole article again about the flat Earth, and that he's stating that all the things are not true. He also said if Gagarin thought the Earth was round during his satellite trip and Mr. Stelton, he was simply repeating an error mankind has been making ever since Columbus. He added immediately that he's been brainwashed by the scientists into a round Earth theory. So he was doing a lot of work. And what I also typed in the Telegraaf, that's a Dutch newspaper. And it's, I thought, well, I get this all of a sudden. That's interesting. But there was a song, The Flat Earth, by Thomas Dolby. I found that track, and it's a very nice Flat Earth song, very spiritual. So if you want to research and type in Thomas Dolby, there's a little bit of acid, electro type music, very strange electro type music, but this has a nice beat, and it's basically, that was a song in 1948, it was in the hit parade, The Flat Earth. So even then people were thinking and making music about the flat Earth. The next one is very interesting. I find this in an open collection where you can get all kinds of newspapers, and this graphic is very interesting because I typed in flat Earth, and then you get hits, how many newspapers have them. So you can see going up here very high, just in the 1920s, there was the highest peak of mentioning the flat Earth in the newspaper, then it went down. You can see a very big drop just when the Second World War was there.
Second World War, exactly.
The Second World War, yep. Bam, it goes down. And then it goes up in the 60s, 70s a bit. So you could see a very...
Can I just say something? We think they caused the First and Second World War to take us back because we had electric cars. Yeah. There was so much happening, and they did that on purpose so that they could destroy everything and then bring in petrol cars.
Yeah, also, and bring in the globe model. You can see here that the it drops. And what also here, this is in a Dutch newspaper. You type in platte aarde, you get a lot of hits for the platte eier, the flat Earth. It's called platte aarde in Dutch. And here's a whole article about stating points he makes about the Earth being flat, and that indeed the people are brainwashed in believing that the Earth is a globe. And this is another one. This is from 1995, so it was still around. People were talking about it. Teach the flat Earth, and this was also about school again.
Isn't it that they were still talking about it at the end of the last century?
Yeah, the talk basically never went away. Only after the Second World War, you could see there was a big drop in news articles, but it went up again after it became again a subject in newspapers. Here, this is if you all do some research in on archive.org, you find this sort of thing. This is even the second edition, and you know when books do well, you get a second print. If books do very bad with their sales, you only have a first print, but it probably book did very well, so there was a second print. I think there is even a third print. This was from 1912 by John, and he basically, this book contains proof that the Earth is flat and stationary, while the sun and the moon and the stars are in a constant motion. Also, letters showing the testimony of the scripture on the subject. Now, from 1912, so it was still a popular book, but because it was a second printing. This is basically Flat Earth News. It was a magazine, a small magazine, and it was begun in 1976, as you can see here. Let's zoom it in a little bit, 1976. And this man is Charles K. Johnson, the president, and his wife. And they had a Flat Earth magazine. And that run for about 10 years. It went longer, but what I could find was 10 years, about 10 years of this magazine. This is one of the first one. Extra Earth Proof Flat. And one of the last ones is the Flat Earth News still. And they explain how it all works. Ships sail on a flat sea, railroads roll on a flat land. The world is flat. Now they demonstrate facts and everything, and they measure with the tools that were available at the time. These are again that Flat Earth song by Thomas Dolby. So that was in the hit parade. Even it went to number 8. So it was a popular song. Here is another one of het Vrije Volk. It's also a Dutch newspaper. Foto van de ronde aarde is bedrog. And it is basically translated, the photo of the round earth is fake. So that was even in a newspaper. You could read that the photo of the round earth was fake. And it was all fakery and conspiracy. Samenzwering is conspiracy. So they were talking about it, and it is a newspaper from 1967. So even then, there's another one, a newspaper that's from 1965. Oh, that's only another subject. Japanese auto rijdt op waterstof, and that's translated. Japanese car rides on water fuel, of water.
Wow.
So this was in 1979. So in Japan, they had a man built a car that could drive on water, and it could drive a distance. It states here about 300 and 400 kilometers when the tank was full, and it could go as fast as 60 kilometers an hour. So that's about 32 miles per hour. So that's what you also can find is, and this is also a nice one. This is an old one that is from 1885. 100 proofs the Earth is a globe. And in this book, he's going to all the 100 proofs that the Earth is a globe. So even back then, they knew that there were 100 proofs of the Earth is not a globe.
Not a globe.
Yeah, it's not a globe. So he also already knew that the Earth was flat. And here's another, this is me a folder, a small booklet you could say, and this is also the plain truth. And this also states that the Earth is flat with calculation in it. And here's another newspaper with also things that the flat Earth theory and that was explained about it. I'm going to show you quick some other thing, basically because I was going to that electric car, if it works.
You know, while you're looking for that, You know what I noticed with those articles is there was no sense of, like they have today, where everybody's a cynic and everybody's trying to pick it apart, calling it a conspiracy theory and belittling the person. There was none of that there. It was treated as honest, legitimate science in those papers.
Yeah. Indeed, that's
I find the timing very fascinating too, where it started to be reinstalled, like the globe started to be reinstalled following World War II.
Absolutely.
And then heavily in the 60s as well, like 1967 and stuff. I would suspect a lot of that would tie back. Yeah, a lot of that.
Carry on, sorry.
That would probably, a lot of that I think would tie back probably to the Koch brothers and Lucis Trust and Alice Bailey, and you go back in those periods is when that became, like, pantheism came forward right around the end of the war. So, the winners write the education program, essentially.
Yeah, and I also showed before all those electric cars that were driving around. Basically, what I found out, almost half of the American people were driving an electric car in around the 1920. So that's a lot of people. And also, if you go to old newspapers, you find a lot of documents, even on archive sites. You find a lot of...
You would never know today that one American was driving an electric car in 1920.
No, but basically, if you ask people on the street, and I did it for just what I always start out with, if people are washing their car on a Sunday, they're washing the car, cleaning them. A nice car you have, mister. Yeah, I have a nice car indeed. Yeah, and then you talk a little bit about the car, and then I ask, well, do you know when the first electric car was invented? And then basically what they always say is about 1980, 1980.
It's like...
No, almost everybody saying electric car was invented. They say no, the electric car was basically invented in 1898. I wonder, huh? That early? I almost don't believe it. Then some people have a mobile phone. They say type in electric car 1910, for instance. No, they type it in on their mobile phone, on their smartphone. Oh, it's that old? Yes, indeed, it's that old. And if they are interesting about that subject, you can, and then you have a nice talk with them and draw the flat Earth after that, because you already see that they are interested in from the media. And then if you draw in flat Earth after that, they are also interested. Oh, they type in flat Earth. Whoa, what a lot of videos, a lot of channels. And they say, yeah, also newspapers. Oh, indeed, newspapers. Oh, I have to research it. Yeah, I say research it, that kind of a thing. So that's how I, the flat Earth. At first I start about electric cars. And after that, I start about the flat Earth. And
you found NASA documents, didn't you, as well, Artis, which said that NASA were working from a flat plane.
Yeah, I also found other documents, but for some reason I can't show you it again because it blocked for some reason. I never have did happen to me again. But I have also a document of the Naval Research Laboratory, and they have all kinds of things over the Earth, and then basically at the end you can see that they are measuring everything on a flat plane. They even state
1965, these documents?
This document is from NASA, yeah, around the 60s, most of them. Around the 60s. This one is from, I don't know for sure. This is also around that time period. They did some calculations, and basically even the Naval Research Laboratory was calculating on this is from 1977. The NASA one was from 1965, I believe. And basically they are telling about a flat plane, the calculations on a flat plane. And after they have calculated the flat plane numbers, then they make a globe Earth model. So they always start first on the navigation, all the radio frequency ratings and calculation. They all start on a flat plane. And if they have done their calculations, sometimes they leave it even with that. They shall match flat surface, flat lines, cross, and that's it sometimes. They even do but only NASA does calculations of that to scale it in a globe model.
So the other day, with all these things in, I can send that on to Rich, can't I, to show him?
Yeah, for some reason, maybe if I drop out real quick or for a reboot, maybe it works then. Just a couple.
Okay, so
Whoops.
what do you think about all that, Rich? He's coming back. Artist is coming back. Rich, what do you think about all that then?
No,
It's just amazing what's been hidden from us. It really is.
I can type it. Maybe that's handy. You can type. Well, maybe do it another time. But I have more documents stating that they all calculate on a flat plane. Even NASA.
You know what I find more amazing though is here you have something like this, which is proof of all these different things that have been hidden from us or whatever, and all we're trying to do is spread truth to people, and the reaction is for the most part hate. It's just an incredible world that they have developed a mindset in the people through the education system, mostly I think.
But also is what people forget. In 1956, Edward Keolian made a radio that was on solar power. So the first solar power radio was from 1956, and it could last 500 hours in darkness without recharging.
Wow.
And it was made by Edward Keolian.
You know, you can't think about
and
you
also
can't think about this stuff too deeply because it makes you too angry.
Indeed, and also in 1968 there was one of the first solar watches, and that solar watch could also last for about 10 hours. If you put it in a dark place, it would stay on for 10 hours. That's the first solar watch. Was in 1968. So and you also have in 1995 they had a solar camera from Canon. Canon had a solar powered camera, so you could take pictures with the solar powered camera, and so everything on solar power. It's not that hard because even camera. 56 in the radio, so and for some reason on purpose, I think they do it on purpose. They try to stop it. That also, you even have a wind turbine. So you on the roof of car you put the wind turbine that rotates, and that was an electric car, and it could recharge the car. So you never have to fuel again. Just a wind turbine on your car, and you drive, and it's about 30 miles an hour. The fan starts.
I think we lost him.
Artist just cut. Yeah, he just cut out for a moment. So yeah, it's just incredible, isn't it, Rich? It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Just gone full robot, hasn't he?
In a minute.
So a friend just sent this to me.
We can come back. Sorry, Aaron.
Yeah, a friend just sent me something. I think it was just synchronicity because he's not even watching this. But he just sent me this thing. He says that his son is reading a book. The book was written in 1930. It's a book that they're supposed to read for English class in school. And it was written in 1938. And he just sent me this screen grab of this little excerpt. It says, we think that there are mysteries in the sky and under the water in the plants which grow, but the Council of Scholars has said that there are no mysteries, and the Council of Scholars knows all things. And we learned much from our teachers. We learned that the earth is flat and that the sun revolves around it. which causes the day and the night. So this is a book written in 1938 that they're having kids read in school right now, called Anthem. Just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it is. Puts to bed the theory that it's settled science for 400 years, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, it was never 400 years. This is another lie.
It's all a lie. It's all backwards, upside down, inside out.
Really, like the television came in really in the 60s, didn't it? And then they took us to fake space, and we're watching fake space on the television. Something really happened in the 60s, but they did it all with the wars.
And here in the United States, when television first started, at 11 p.m., no matter where you were in the country, you had your nightly news. It was local, and the channels would either sign off at 11:30 or at midnight, generally, give or take a little bit. And when they would sign off, they would have a government-recorded national anthem where they would show the flag and different things like that. And the national anthem would play, and it would have the words come up on the screen at the bottom. And it was only recently through technology where people have slowed it down, and where it would say stuff like, "Oh, say can you see," it would actually be "trust the government" would come up first in a subliminal. And all through the song, subliminals would be there to tell you to trust the government and to believe in them only, and you have no fear with the government, that sort of thing. So yeah, with the advent of television, you know, the government immediately made it so they had to license every station. And so they're in control then. And they were like, okay, you show this at night when you sign off, and it was all part of the system combined with the education system. So you know, you have the adults who are outside of the education system before it was fully enforced in the 60s. So they got their indoctrination through subliminals on television, and then the schools were the students in the schools were getting it directly. Yeah,
that's right. Sorry, my internet connection was sometimes it drops off. Just I don't know why it's happening, but sorry for that.
No problem.
I found it gave me some time to find this. Can you see this in the Hangout?
Yeah, we can see it. Okay. We're looking at it.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is the Naval Research Laboratory. It's from 1977, and if you go through, they have all kinds of measurements. And these are the waves they do with radio raving. I believe it's all radio wave data. And then they calculate that, and they calculate it on a flat Earth method. And these are the calculations, straight lines over America. These are the Great Lakes. Straight lines, straight lines, straight lines, straight lines, straight lines, straight lines. So they calculate everything on straight lines. That is the outcome.
What do those straight lines represent? Radio propagation?
Yeah, I think it's
okay.
The average inclinations of polarization ellipses at each side are projected to test the hypothesis that the projections point a secondary source region. For comparison, the direction of arrival of a group of waves solution is shown on a plane wave flat Earth method, dash line, and the source location method. So I hope that tells you something, but basically this is all data samples from something. So that for me that the
artist brought this up in one of the Hangouts, and then had a little box at the top, and he decided to put flat Earth in, and it was all over this document, wasn't it? NASA document, all over it.
Oh yeah. So if NASA, they first do calculations on a flat plane, and after that, they go on with all other calculations. So yeah, that is also very interesting that they calculate everything on a flat flat surface, and later on they start to calculate on an curved surface. So the first calculation is always on the flat plane, and later on they make calculations to other things. What is also interesting is they can find it really quick. Is that where did I put it? Oh yeah, in a new folder. You have all kinds of things in everywhere that they always use a flat Earth map. Also in old books, they always use a flat Earth map. Never a globe map. So that's also very clear that they always use that flat Earth calculations map.
Another one, Artist, the other one's still there. The experimental investigation, that's still up if you're showing another one.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted just to really quick show that all those all those solar power devices, but you basically get the idea that a lot of things were solar.
Your screen's black.
Oh, it's just gone black again. Oh, great. They probably don't want me to show this to you. Here's that German guy with all those old articles that proves that we are lying. Quick. Let's do something about it. I think I found it again. And let's see if it works. It's happened a lot of times now because I think they are on to me. Here's that.
Yeah, present again, Artist. Present it again.
Does it work? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're there.
Thank you. Well, this is basically an advertisement of an electric car, but what is interesting, this is the patent numbers here, so you can read it. It was that car that could drive on a wind turbine. Look, on the roof, you have this. And it's a patent date from 1975. This is the patent number. And basically here air goes in and it starts to rotate if you drive. And that charges your car.
Amazing.
So in 1975 they already knew that it was possible. So even if you put on the hood here a solar panel, or you put around here some solar panels, you are ensured that you can drive for free. This is basically a Japanese man made such a car with a fan. And basically if the fan starts to move when he's driving, and it's recharging his car. And this car, he made this car and it cost him only $800.
And I'm sure they've been trying to figure out how to get it off the road ever since.
Yeah, of course. And this is basically an electric car and a 19-year-old boy made to drive to his school. So people are making electric car themselves for around $700 because the car industry is not providing us with that kind of cars. And basically, the cars had also had a license plate, so it was good enough to drive. But I also want to bring up, this was in 1917. There was a big advertisement: gasoline is going up, electricity is going down. So buy an electric car because it's cheaper. Even it was cheaper back then. This is one of the electric automobile show in 1922. So they did a whole show in 1922 for electric cars because it was a hot item back then. This is even with magnetic purposes in them. This was a fancy advertisement for the high society woman to drive an electric car. What is more interesting is even this one. And this is, you could, if you recharge that an old car, and it was done in 1910, so that was a long time ago. On one single charge, you could drive 201.6 miles. So the fairy tale that people often tell that you can drive far with an electric car. And this car was very heavy in that day. Those cars were weighing a ton. And even back then, you could drive 201 miles on one single charge. And average speed was, I think, about 15 miles or 20 miles an hour. And what also was back then, you had in 1917, even dual powered car. So basically, this is a hybrid car. So the hybrid car was already invented in 1917. So that cars have been around, the technology has been around for 100 years. And now they're just making them since about maybe 1995. But the technology was long around. This also was from in the newspaper, the Palladium Sun Telegraph, on March 32nd.
And they were made out of heavy steel then. Just think what you could get out of it today.
Mm-hmm. And this is basically there was a Baker Electric providing fans, big fans to transport heavy goods or people. So they even had fans driving around on electricity. And this is a guy in the 1960s, was an engineer, and he bought an old electric car and placed a sun panel on the car, so he could catch the sunlight and recharge the batteries of that car. And so even you can see that in the 60s, somebody with a small conversion of an old car, a solar panel on the roof, and he could drive for free. So that's some examples of electric cars that you can even build yourself.
Imagine where we would have been today if they hadn't done what they did. Imagine what we'd be driving around in and how clean everything would be.
Oh yeah, for sure, it would be very clean. And now they are hiring the carbon taxes. They are going up every year because of the smoke and everything, and the so-called heating up of the planet, what they like us to believe. And maybe they are taxing our dirty cars, but they are providing only cars that are dirty, and electric cars and other cars. They make them as expensive as possible. So, and I'm glad to see that some people are making their own electric cars now for around $700. So you can see that the car industry could also easily be making cars that cheap. Because if even people can make it, if a car manufacturer makes those cars, maybe they only could cost $500. So basically everybody could drive a car for around between $500,000. Everybody could drive an electric car. With a fan on it that recharges itself, you put some solar panels on your roof to recharge your car, and you have free energy to drive your car. So sometimes it makes me a little bit mad that they are on purposely trying to slow down the process of free energy as long as possible.
I'm just sat here watching this thinking how awesome it is. Like, and if I'm just thinking of the next stage with that fan in the front of the car, you could have multiple fans. So if any of them packed up while you were driving, you would always have enough to get to your place. And as soon as you get there, you realise, you open the bonnet, you do a quick check. Oh, I've got a red light instead of a green one on that fan. Quickly change it out, carry on, you know.
Yeah, indeed.
It's just about getting enough in that you keep going. You know, you could have one that was never had to be plugged in, you know.
Yeah, indeed. And here I'm going to show just for fun that electric radio from 1956. This was a solar-powered radio that could go on for 500 hours without getting any sunlight. So back in 1956, they had a solar-powered radio. This was one of the first solar-powered watches. You can see that is from 1968, and it works perfectly. This is a solar-powered camera from Canon from 1995. So, and this is basically the car driving. I think it's in could be California. I think if you look at this building. And he's driving that solar power old car that he converted with the solar panel on the roof to recharge the electric battery of this car. in the 1960s. And this guy did a whole world tour through all the countries in Europe to show everybody that you could drive a car on solar power in the 60s. He went to the Netherlands, to France, to Belgium, to Germany to show this car.
Do you know the thing with it as well? When you're sat in traffic, you're not using any power. So if the fans and stuff aren't spinning, it doesn't really matter as long as you're not using too much power and like auxiliaries, you know, like radio and fans going. Yep. So it could, like, it's totally feasible to make something like that.
The battery industry also has also been highly suppressed. My brother personally knows somebody here. I don't know what the sport is called, but they have these giant trucks with these giant wheels, and what they do is they're in this derby where they crash up against each other, and they drive all day. And this person has developed a battery so superior that he can run his truck all day doing that in the derby without recharging. And at one point, there were some people that came to buy his technology because it's so superior. And he wanted a guarantee that the technology would not be bottled up and kept a secret, but it would be released out there. And they said, no, the reason why we're buying it up is to keep it a secret. And so he would not sell them the rights to it. And he still is the only person that I'm aware of in his grouping of people that knows exactly how to do it. But my brother has actually witnessed his truck running all day at these events without a recharge. And it's a lot of wear and tear because they're pushing these things as hard as they can up against other trucks. And it's sort of like a demolition derby, I think is what it is. So the technology is also being suppressed as well as far as the batteries.
Yeah, Rich, we've got someone, well, he should be coming on next week. He's a friend of mine, and he makes free energy devices.
Oh, I'm interested in that, that's for sure.
Yeah, me too. But you can basically...
Just on that note there, Rich, I just dropped a link in the sidebar there for you if you want to have a look at it. It's a saltwater batteries patent from 1964.
Yes, Chris. Just explain, Chris, what they're doing. What needs to have happened when they made all our houses? What should they have been using? Seawater. Could you just explain a tiny bit about
that? Too, yeah, that too, yeah. Carry on. I just wanted to let you know I dropped that in there for you, Rich, if you want to look at battery. You mentioned batteries, so it just kind of triggered my brain there real quick. So carry on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you, Chris.
We'll come back.
Basically, why I get to found all these articles that I was researching ancient history, because they are also lying about ancient history. You have a lot of structures before the Maya culture, before the Inca culture, before the Egypt culture, that you can clearly see they built with higher advanced technology and without any mortar or cement between the stones. It's you can see that if you really look at old structures for yourself, you can investigate, because on Google Earth you can find all those structures and a lot of photos about it. You can also see that the whole past they are telling us isn't true, because they tell certain things that certain things were built in a kind of way. But if you look at old pictures, you can clearly see that it's not the history doesn't. Basically, they are lying about our history. I've been here every Sunday explaining about ancient structures, and everybody can clearly see that there were civilizations predating the Inca civilization, the Maya civilization, and even the Egypt civilization in the time of the early Romans. And also, even on on Roman structures, most of the old Roman temples are built on older foundations of buildings that predate the Roman civilization, probably by a couple of thousands of years. So they are even lying about that. So they are lying so much, it's ridiculous.
It's horrible. Artist, just for a moment, I really appreciate everything you've shown Rich, but we've got 2 more people's work to come out yet tonight for Rich.
Mhm.
If Rich has got time, we'll come back and he can talk to any one of you. Thank you so much, artists, for all your, what do you call it, all your delving through all this stuff for us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much, artists. Very good stuff.
Yeah, and also if for the fun of it, I took a picture. I'll know screen shares now. Yeah, now for some reason it works. If I'm finished, it works perfectly all of a sudden. Can you see this picture?
Yes.
No, it's not. Oh, yeah.
I took this picture, and it is always what I always do for fun. Is I show them not in this kind. I show them this way around. Because it almost looks like there's an there is an now sometimes I say, look, this is the ISS and it's going over the Earth. And some people believe this even. If I show this, oh yeah, that's the ISS going over the Earth, because the light looks like the light is coming from above.
Yes. Well, heck, they
But
believe the cartoon of Pluto was in the moon, was in the actual planet of Pluto,
Yeah,
didn't it?
if you turn it, you can see the light is coming. So this proves the light is not coming above the clouds. It's coming under the clouds. So the sun is lower than the clouds.
Yes.
I have another one. You can see the grid of the. They are probably laying out with clouds. You can see to the distance, the same type of distance between the light of these clouds. And then other clouds, they are lower. They don't have that light in them. See over here, those clouds are normally looking. Only above that, you can see a whole grid structure of lines with the same space between them. Even this is the same. This here you can see here, this is the same. It almost looks like they copied the clouds.
Yeah, that's a very good picture to teach perspective too.
Yeah, indeed. It goes all the way. You can see even in the distance.
Yeah.
It still goes on. With and I took this picture in I think 1999. Around 1999, when I knew it was around the millennium change. So this is also fun to see.
Artists, we've got 2 more people's work to go through. Can we come back to this stuff? I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But
I'm finished.
Yeah, Karen too. I'm gonna jump out there too, but I'll catch up with you all again later. I just want to jump on for a minute, just hang out, and just want to say thanks again, and I'll jump back in on the next one as soon as I get a chance. I got a whole bunch of stuff I'm trying to get done, so I'll jump in on the next one too. Nice talking to you, Aaron, and everybody.
Yep.
Yeah,
Rich,
thanks.
We'll talk to you too.
Bye, Chris.
Yeah. Bye, Chris. Thanks for being here.
thanks, Chris. Big flat Earth hugs. Big flat Earth hugs, Chris.
Take care, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, the next person can show his stuff. I'm finished.
Thank you, artists. Thank you.
I try to keep it as short as possible.
Awesome.
Stand next.
So yeah.
All yours, Stan.
Are you presenting me? Am I?
Yeah, you're presented.
Can you see what I'm doing? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah,
Awesome.
we can hear you clear.
So when I started, I realised, I realised the world was flat, and then I looked into everything, like all the models and stuff, and I realised none of them worked. So then I realised we had to make one that worked. So I was trying to figure out how everything was moving above me, so to speak. I was looking out at the stars every night and looking at the moon with my P900 and everything like this, and just couldn't work it out. But then, one sec.
Hello?
I think you said hold on for a second.
Yeah, sorry about that. My cat was just about to start whinging on. So I just had to kick her out. But yeah, so I realized there was not a model that actually showed what was working above us. And then we started to track the moon using one of these cameras. This is what I've been using, this exact camera. A Panaview. They're about £50 on eBay, like British pounds. You probably get them a lot cheaper in America, you know. They're Chinese. You can pick them up plentiful. There is loads of these cameras. But I've had one of these on my roof now for about 10 months, and it's on all the time. So, but that's the cheap version. That's what will get you a basic picture and basic tracking of your sky. And then this is the other one. Yeah.
360 camera we're talking about here.
Yeah, this is a single lens 360 camera. It's like the cheapest you can get, really. That's any good. And then this is the Samsung Gear, the 2016 one that I keep telling everyone that I've got. This is what it is. And it's just 3 buttons. They're simple to work, you know. These are so easy to operate, easier than your P900. And the beauty with them, you can set them up and just leave them. You haven't got to continually keep aiming it. It's 360 degrees all round. So it tracks everything. And then this is the newer version of that camera. Like, this one will work with Wi-Fi, or you can, so I've got my one that I've had running on my roof going through a laptop. So it's being controlled Wi-Fi. And then I just have the app running, recording in the settings I want, and it's as simple as that. This one, you can do the same. You can just have it sat on the side, push the button, and it'll record on its own, or you can have the app running. But you need the Samsung phone to work this one. And also, when you do the stitching, your phone will do this all for you. You haven't got to do it through other programs. It just, your phone works with this camera because it's a Samsung phone. So, and then the newer one, apparently, I'm not entirely sure because I haven't got this one, but apparently you can work this with iPhone as well. So this one's
what's that one called?
This is a Samsung Gear 2017.
Okay, thank you.
This is just the step on. It's the same lenses, same everything, apart from they've changed the case. It's got looks like a sensor there. I don't know if it's a light sensor or what it is, because like I said, I haven't got one of these, but they are just as good as the old one, if not better. Yeah, I can't really vouch for it because I haven't got one, if you get me.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, these two are true 360 because they've got the twin lens, so you get the down view as well. Whereas this one, when I upload, it says it's a 360 because it's 360 degrees around, but you don't get the 360 up and down. You get 180. You just get the top view, which is good enough for what we're interested in. But then this is the the Oculus, the VR, the Gear VR, the headset, the camera, and the phone.
So that allows you to view everything in 3D?
In the headset, yeah. You clip the phone into the headset, and then that becomes your screen, and you can then watch back everything you've recorded on the camera.
You can also watch other people's recordings, can't you, Stan?
Yeah, you can watch you can watch, on the Oculus app, they've even got all sorts of videos. You know, you can be underwater in supposedly the poles, but I'm not sure if it is, but yeah, you can be under the ice, and you know, you can watch all sorts of things. they are getting more and more popular. There's more stuff available for it.
What's the cost on the headset?
I got this same headset used on eBay for 25 quid.
Wow.
So they were a lot of money new, but then nowadays people are getting them free with their phones, not using them, and then just listing them like used but new on eBay.
Right.
For not a lot of money. You can pick up the newer version for about £40, which is this one. This is what they're selling you now.
All right.
But again, depending on where you're going to get it is where you're going to pay for it. If you hold on and keep looking, you'll get one, you know.
That would be cool if you have a big flap with Samsung on it or on the front. That you could easily also put a solar panel on there, so you could use it for a longer time of period.
Yeah, definitely. But this is like, you will need this for a true understanding of how your sky is working. You can't really understand it in a 2-dimension screen like you're looking at now. You have to have the headset for full submersion in the picture.
Well, there's one thing where I'm at right now, and that is I can see more stars than I think I've ever seen anywhere else I've ever lived. The only place I think it's ever been better is like in the middle of the Indian Ocean or something out at sea.
Well, that'd be good to have a camera like this, because on these ones you can tweak the ISO up and down and the exposure. And I have tried it, but I haven't experimented long enough to get a good picture.
Now, have you come up with any discoveries by using this yet?
Yeah, I'm just going to show you everything like that in a sec. But this one's the 2 lens that you can clearly see it there. But then these are your 3 buttons. You've just got on, menu, and then you scroll on the top and record. So that's what I'm trying to get to people. These are not like beyond people, you know. These are so simple to use.
Hey Stan, beyond doing research with them, another good, excellent use with them would be taking them on holiday or vacation with you. You know, you can come back and look at that place entirely different. You can, you know, check it out from every angle then.
Yeah, well, I put this one, I screw it to the roof of my car every now and then and just go for a drive around. You know, you can use them. Yeah, they're
trying to take it in.
Yeah, you can use them for anything. But these ones now as well, I've noticed you can get these for under £100 on eBay. So even secondhand, these ones are just so cheap. And people usually they buy them once, or they buy them, use them once or twice, and then don't really have no use for it. Put it in the drawer, get it out, sell it. So you can get them that have not been used for not a lot of money. But then this is how mine's set up on my roof. That's my chimney with my. This is what I was telling you the last time. I've got a builder's level with a hinge at the bottom, and it's all riveted on, screwed to the top of my chimney, because obviously I wanted to get above my ridge. And then when I go up there, I just unbungee it, because that's about as high as I can reach. Slide it back down into the pole, lower it down to me, and then I can service it. And it's just on a 5-meter cable, plugged in all the time. It's in a waterproof case. And
so the case itself is waterproof with the camera, correct?
Yeah, that comes with the cheap camera. That came with the basic one. And all I done, I just drilled a hole through the side where the charge port was, poked the cable in there, and all I've done is just electric taped it all up, and that has been fine for 10 months. Do you remember reading anything about the heat range or temperature range? That has not failed, even on the hottest day in the UK. That has worked. It was the laptop that crashed because it got too hot. But obviously some people can get to their cameras, but I'll show you the next picture. This is where my camera is. I have to go out this ladder, out this window, and then along the valley, and then up to the camera, you know, and I've got it all plugged in. There's like a waterproof socket here just in case anything ever happens, you know.
Right.
But yeah, and then this is the app that I use with my throwaway laptop. That was not fit for anything no more, you know. It just about runs this app. So it was going to go in the bin, and yeah, it got saved for this purpose, you know. And this laptop has been on since the camera's been on, so that has been plugged in on for 10 months now, as well as the camera.
Yeah, I've got one that qualifies for the same thing then.
And then yeah, from impossible, we now have a possible way of making a map and a model that is going to work and show how everything is. And that's doing what we've been doing with this. And this is from one of these 360 cameras, a time lapse over one entire night, and a full track. This is just one single evening. And basically we stack the images to create the moon's track. So each one is like 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes apart. We take a picture, stack it, layer it, find out where the moon was. And then when you look at this back in VR, it's like this edge joins this edge, and then the tops, you get, it's no different than being stood on this building looking around. You get a true understanding, but then you can see where the moon's been. So you can't go out and stand on the top of this building, look at the moon over here, remember exactly where it was in the sky, and then half hour later remember exactly where that was and create what we've created here. It cannot be done without this.
Is that a full moon there?
That was a full moon.
Okay.
But then this is what we do. Basically, we track it, and then we put these lines always follow the same pattern. You have to just literally drag the lines up or move them down to match the moon. So this is this is working, what we're doing. There's a pattern, you know, there's a law. If it didn't fit the law, if every time we done this it was different and we had to change the lines, then we would have a problem. We wouldn't be able to build a model. But we can from this. And this is how we do it. We then twist the image. That tells us how much degrees of twist we have to give it. So then that gives us our long latitude on a map. You following?
Yes, got it.
So this is what we've been doing now for a long time, you know. And this is what we're now at the point where we need others to understand what we're doing, what we're showing, and then jump in with us and start tracking for us, you know.
Start combining the data.
Yeah, because this is where we're at now, see, Richard. We're scraping the barrel, you know.
Right.
But we can work with just that, them 5, you know, we can work with that, but, you know, really we want proper images. This is my moon tracking from that real cheap £60 camera.
So that's many different nights there.
Yeah, this was over 14 days. So in the 14 days, it goes from the northern scan line right down to the southern scan line. But we've worked out a way to use this to create a map. You know, it works. These lines always follow the laws that we've noticed.
What do you mean you've been able to formulate a map?
Well, we can we can work out from tracking the moon like this. We can then work out latitude and longitude.
Really, both? Huh? Okay.
Yeah, across a map, because how you do it is you track the moon, and then you put these lines across. You make them suit your moon, and then that will give you your latitude, and then your timestamp will then give us your longitude.
Let me ask a question. If we are seeing the moon and the sun, or either one or both, through by way of a reflection, would that still be an accurate way to be able to tell a map?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if this wouldn't work, I wouldn't be wasting anyone's time with it. This is my roof tracking again, but with an 8K backdrop. This is with the tracking was done with the cheap camera, as you see here. That's the lens of the cheap camera. And what I've done, I've nipped up there with my Samsung one, taken a 8K backdrop, and then we've led the tracking over the 8K backdrop to give you a better view of what you're seeing. So in the VR, this looks a lot better. But then this is like you're twisting it and you're getting information, the information required. The blue's always south, the red's north, east and west.
It's showing out too that we really do not see the sky horizon like we think we do. Like the moon doesn't go all the way down to the horizon. I've been noticing that with Venus as well here, that it just suddenly appears in the morning because it's not at the horizon, it's above the horizon when it does.
Well, this is South Africa, Cape Town. So
Okay.
this is Southern Hemisphere.
Oh yeah, sounds yeah. You got the red in the middle.
Red in the middle, blue lines at the top, red lines at the bottom. So everything rolls as you go across the equator, let's say.
So, and that's about half a sky, so that's more than sufficient.
Yeah, that's just what I'm saying to people. Even if as long as really we need the rise or the set, but as long as you can get us the curve we're looking for, we can match the lines up and then work from there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, where I'm at now, I have a poor east-west orientation as far as view, but if I take it to the edge of the property here where I'm staying, I can get a fantastic east-west. I mean, probably 90% of it. So that's why I was asking questions about, does it have to be plugged in or can it work off batteries for a while or whatever?
Yeah, mine's just plugged in all the time because it's been on since it's been out there, you know?
Okay. The good thing about here is there's several RV plugins, so I could use any one of those, and then I even run an extension from there to find the best place.
But this is what we are doing, and with the VR gear headset, you will get a better understanding of what is going on.
Now, can you also do this like a time lapse of the stars?
With
well, you're getting that anyway, I guess, aren't you?
With these cameras are like $3,000.
I'm sorry, they're what?
About $3,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to get a setup that will to capture the stars, you need a lot of money, but all we need is the moon. You know, we can do it from the moon.
Okay.
The moon will give us everything we need to know.
I'm much more confident with the moon anyway, because I think the moon may be the one thing we see directly.
No, you don't see it directly.
No? Okay.
No. No, definitely not.
I know it's definitely not this. It's not definitely getting it from the sun. That's for sure.
Definitely. The moon and the sun are both in these scan lines. They follow in the same pattern.
Oh, they're same slots.
Yeah, and then if you you look here, there's just stars above. They're just, you know, it's like it's all stacked on shelves. You have to really see these images to see these images. You know, that's what I keep saying to people. Without the headset, then my work is if I flip right back over to here, it's
I guess it's not giving you justice what's actually being shown.
yeah, the eyes are useless when the mind's blind.
Yeah, FPV, even in that picture you showed with all those stars, you could see be it like an almost like an structure. Almost, if you tilt that on the side, it almost looked at like the thing from the Matrix, the movie. This. If you turn that 90 degrees, it almost looks like the beginning of the movie The Matrix.
Yeah, but we've twisted this to work out the latitude. See, this is how it appears to the camera.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
This is it. It's not a globe because there's no curvature. It's not perspective. You got to look at the 360 stuff to get a understanding. Otherwise, you're just never going to move forward. Like the VR is an awesome tool. It is the only way you're going to truly understand what is going on above your head.
Indeed.
You know, we were given the stars and the moon and everything, so we knew where we were, and we just don't know.
Oh, yeah.
We lost how to decode this, you know.
Yeah, even had devices to measure everything, and that you could actually tell the time.
Yeah, that's what the watch is. The watch was created so people could then use their astrolabes to then know where they were on the Earth.
Yeah.
It wasn't nothing to do with the globe or the sun going around the Earth. It was to do so they knew where they were.
Yeah,
So,
indeed. Indeed, on ships they use that with their navigation tools to pinpoint exactly where they were. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now we're scraping the barrel. We need fresh new people to get these cheap cameras, you know, and just set them up, walk away, upload the footage. We'll do the rest, you know, and then we'll give you some. We can then give everyone what they're wanting, a working model. So it's like, there you go, it's proven now. That is, you know, that's what I was saying to Aaron the other night. If you get a working model, you take away the foundation of what their belief is, because it's not a globe, because there's your working model. This actually works. It's got the stars on it. It's got the moon on it. It's got the sun on it. It tells you where you are. It works. Not, you know, your globe is just a ball in a classroom that spins. Where's your stars? Where's your moon? Where's your sun? You just have to imagine it. That's what, you know, it's all a dream world.
Yeah.
With this, it's reality. You can step into it by putting the headset on. And
yeah, that's what I always say. They hide on purpose certain things. They tell you only a part of their view, and they don't tell the rest. Because if they tell the rest, the globe model doesn't work anymore.
That's it. So we now need, you know, we need the people now to stand up, get up there and do their bit. And, you know, if they want to, it's down to them now, really, to make this happen.
Yeah.
How many people do you need, do you figure? One on each continent? Several on each continent?
Yeah, really, you'd like to have the corners of each continent, wouldn't you? And one in the middle. But
right.
That's a dream, you know. Just, I'm just saying, we now can't go any further without more input. You know, the people that we've been like using their footage are not flat earthers. They're just people putting out a 360 camera and tracking the moon. They don't even know what they're doing really. They're just experimenting with their cameras, and we found their footage and then used it. So some of it is still useless because we don't know exact coordinates unless there's a landmark, or, you know, Dubai Tower, sort of know where that is. But some mate he called Dave with, you know, just his camera out on his shed roof, don't really know where that is.
Yeah.
So we've created a email address. It's 360moontracking@gmail.com. So people, you know, when they've done a video, or if they want to just check before they purchase a camera, or ask, how do I need to have this, or how do I upload it, or get stuck, you know, you can email.
Yeah, we've been having think tank nights. We had one with Stan, what was it, Monday night? Was it Monday night? Last night? I can't remember now. Oh no, not last night, Wednesday. It was Tuesday then, wasn't it? We had a night with you for think tanking, trying to get new ideas, get new people in, get people to be interested in 360-degree cameras.
I think it's a fantastic idea to do, and you're planning around each corner and one of the centres. Brilliant. I think the UK will be the first to pull that off. You know, I could see people in the UK buying them already. One of my guys has just bought one of these up in Scotland somewhere. Yeah, that should be good. Let's get UK online.
Yeah, that's it. So it's just about collecting the information, giving it to us, and then we can process it, you know, and give you these awesome pictures above your head that you can then look at in your VR.
So just to verify again, it's 360moontracking@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Got it.
All little letters, just nice and simple, you know.
Right. Yeah. When I'm ready, I will email you to find out, to make sure I'm getting the right thing.
Yeah. Either that or drop, you know, comment, YouTube, Hangouts. You know, there's more ways than one to get hold of me.
Okay.
But yeah, that's like, I thought tonight I need somewhere where people can just send links, or, you know, because there's no point me giving you my email address that I use, because it's just, I will never see what goes on. There's so much stuff going through there. So it needs something that's just literally pure for what we're doing.
Yeah, I hear you there.
And then here we get, like, I can't goes to I can, because when I first started this, I was like, I can't do it, can't work it out, can't triangulate it. What's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And then we've got the tools now, so we can do this.
Yeah, it's becoming affordable.
And then we'll achieve the goal. That's the thing. We need to set the goal and achieve it. Because my goal was to work out what the hell was going on. Am I under a dome? Am I on a ball? What is going on? You know, you showed all these different models, and it turns out that all of them are wrong. There is no one model that is 100% correct. They all have their little chinks that don't work.
Yeah,
they just try and explain it away, and it's like, you can't explain it away. It has to work 100%.
No, I love the old adage, prove this wrong. It's like, no, you got it backwards. You have to prove it right.
Yeah, that's how I become a flat earther. I tried to debunk the flat earth and become a flat earther. You know, if you look at anything with a true, like, you have to open your mind to everything, throw everything away, start again. And if you look at everything with a different view, instead of starting with an objective, you will find the truth. I think it's the trouble when people try to make it their reality that they want instead of just the reality that it is when they get lost, you know? Yeah,
you have to leave all biases at the door.
Exactly. That's like, goes back to the first thing FBV said, you know, we're all here to find out what is going on. We're not here to argue and say this about this person and that about that person. We're all in the same boat. We should all be just, I found this, check this out. Or I've done this, I've done that, you know.
Just like we are doing now, we are sharing everything we have in knowledge and helping each other go further. Because sometimes when you show something, even when I show ancient structures in the Sunday Hangouts, people point out certain things or say, hey, well, that side looks exactly like that other side 100 miles away. And then I look at that certain side and I found out that all over the world, before the Egyptians, the Incas, and the Mayas, there was used the same technology. And if you compare them to each other, they look all exactly, you can clearly see that the same technology was used, the same craftsmanship. And so there was a worldwide knowledge of building in a certain type of way with the same type of high technology.
Yeah, you've actually, you know, you've got me hooked on watching that bloke that you sent me to the other night with all, when he wanders around.
Brian Forrester.
Yeah, Brian Forrester.
Yeah, he's great. Because he goes actually to the site himself. So he takes out his measurement tools and measures everything. Well, this is 100% square. This is 100% level. This is 100%. And he proves that you can see the measurements. And also he takes out his compacts and put them on ancient structures. You can see the north is going almost 90 degrees or 180 degrees if you put them on a certain spot on rocks. So he also proves that people in the past were very high intelligent in crafting certain buildings. And it's amazing how much knowledge we lost, because if you can build these kind of great structures before the Inca, before the Maya civilization, you are for sure very advanced. You can build that straight without any mortar, with a certain type of stone shapes that you can fit exactly in each other and on each other, and that they are level, they are earthquake proof, everything. And if you like, I don't know if you're finished, I can show you some pictures that prove it.
Yeah, no, I've seen him, man. I was watching him today with his metal ruler.
Maybe, I don't know if Aaron has seen them.
I haven't seen them.
I can if it's okay. If it's okay, I'll go to them as fast as possible.
Yeah, I'm sort of done anyway. I was just, showing.
Yeah. Well, this is in Baalbek in Italy. You can see this guy. You can see this doorway was once a lot bigger. And so you can. Why would you build such a huge doorway with? These are, look how big those stones are. It doesn't even fit in the page, but this stone weighs, I think, about, and even you have to do this cutout. This stone weighs about 200 tons, maybe 300 tons. And you have these holes in them that we still don't know what they're used for, because sometimes those holes are not in a row like this, but have other shapes, almost like a music pattern. And this is...
Looks like a fast food McDonald's for giants, where they just pass it out that window.
yeah, something like that. Here you can see this is in Ollantaytambo. I think it's Bolivia, Peru. But you can see some kind of technology is used to cut in these stones. You can still see some kind of saw marks, but this is so straight that will be very interesting to see actually what they used to do this. Maybe they use laser, because the tools are never found. They found not one tools. And if you see over here, this is also, then you have to bear in mind that most of these rocks are as hard as granite. And if you compare this is also structure can compare the stones on the front.
I'll say something. Artist, Ceres has still got to show his work.
Oh, sorry.
Can we have a look at this after? Can we look at your work after Stan's finished and then Ceres?
Oh yeah, sure. First
Is that all right,
okay,
please?
sorry. I just wanted to point out that you.
I know. We could be here for about 8 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours.
Yeah.
Time is moving on a little bit, and I just wanted to see if Stan's finished, and then we can come back to yours.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Yeah. Go
No,
ahead.
that's okay. It's just Stan was just talking about his stuff. Stan?
Oh yeah, I'm sort of good, you know. I was.
He was finished, so I thought I
Yeah.
would show quickly 10 pictures to prove it, and then.
Just just the email address now, and you can message, and hopefully someone will start up a Twitter account, or something. And if Aaron gets his thing up and running, we'll be on there. There'll be lots of ways people can just send us their tracking. They can even do it anonymous, and we won't share it. Just track the moon. One night is sufficient, because I can then check it, cross-reference on my one to see where my moon was, to work out where your moon was, and then we can place these lines in the correct position. You give us your coordinates, and then we can work from there. And like I say, if you don't want it to be public, just say, this is just for you guys. Because without people actually doing this, we're not going to be able to do what we're doing. We can't continue, basically.
Yeah, basically what I showed for Aaron was research analytic structures. Look very careful for yourself, and you will find out that everything you were taught about the Egyptian civilization, the Maya civilization, the Inca civilization is 100% wrong.
Everything's wrong. Just work on that basis of
Everything's wrong. Everything's a lie. Everything's the wrong way around.
Yeah, even the meanings of all these little symbols and stuff. I've been watching these videos artists have put me onto, and you see these like witchcraft symbols and everything, and it's like, well, it's not witchcraft, then is it? It's something else,
Yeah. Also, I showed those pictures that you could clearly see that they were trying to say they are frequencies.
Yeah, that's what I said to you straight away, wasn't it? It's like a wave of frequency they're trying to show you, and then 3 tablets. Yeah.
Okay. Ceres can go. He's waiting very long, so now he can go on.
I just want to throw in there. I've wondered for a while if the hieroglyphs of Egypt weren't just like purposefully misunderstood or presented to us wrong as the wrong interpretation.
No,
but really, they were trying to warn us against like central banks and all these other things. They wrote it into the stone so we would never forget.
I think they were showing you everything.
Yeah.
Their whole generations and generations and generations of works carved into them walls. It's just like you've just said, though, it's been presented wrong. The same as the sun and the moon. That's what I say, you got to look at it and present it correctly. How is it actually working? And that's, leads back to everything. It's all a lie. Because everyone's trying to base it on a lie.
Yeah, all a lie.
You can't have the truth based on a lie. It doesn't work. The truth is the truth. Is the truth.
Okay, now for some more truth, we have Ceres.
Ceres, thank you, Stan. Thank you, artist. Thank you.
Cheers for listening. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so far I'm working with the elevation data. I'm not sure. This is just a simple rendering of the elevation data under a sea as well, a little bit colored, but go through it and try to make it all in Blender. And then later, I found something I could actually read out magnetical data. up till 1,000 kilometers high for the complete GPS coordinates, out of where also the elevation comes, and just is projected back into the photographic dimensions. This is the beginning of it, the first tryouts, and then I came across another method, and the colors are based on the direction of the magnetic field itself. And I read here a complete level 6 grid, and then 1,000 kilometers high, a little bit rough, scant in that sense. And yeah, the colors show a lot, but the directions not really much. And then I figured out I could actually just pick a single position from this and actually follow the line to figure out what that magnetic line actually does. We're there almost. Yeah. Like this. And a little bit this one. Yeah. This is how eventually this tryout worked out. I take from every what is it, level 5 pixel, a particular position, and go upwards till the 1,000 kilometers. Because here I have it something like 10 steps every 100 kilometers, and bring that into a view. And well, you can see there is several magnetic directions, and one particular thing is that north and south is only between two positions connected in the magnetic field, and the other two are not. I guess we can do more study on the particular points in where the 0 points are, I guess. You can see in the left bottom the purple having a little bit hole in between the rest of the world in that sense, and on the right side you can see it for the red part as well. And then in the middle the green and the light blue are connected. And somewhere I have one with elevation data in it. A little bit too small.
So are these magnetic lines on the Earth or above the Earth?
Above the Earth. Everything between 0 and 1,000 miles. Okay. Although I'm scanning out only certain heights, because the whole map drawing from all the positions, all the lines, is just so much data, you can't actually animate that anymore. So I'm figuring out a way to actually see a way better method to actually look at it. And here you can see the magnetic lines and then how that goes over the chart, over the map.
Is this data with the Google data?
Yeah, it's a combination of this is from the World Magnetic Map. They have a particular program in where you can put GPS coordinates and altitudes in a list, in a file of what is converted into the magnetical data added to that information. And out of there, I translate that into the square dimensions and plot that out in a 3D environment. And the method is, what I use here is following, if I started at a certain position in this way, in this image particularly, I start somewhere where you halfway just above the dark blue and purple, one line, and in the level 5 grid, and those lines I follow both directions, and you see that everything here ends up in the bottom and in the top, and this is within the square at the 0 position in XY coordinates, exactly at the edge of the square. And you can see that both other fields are just missing in the world itself. So there only these two north-south directions are of polarities are probably measurable in the world, but the others are not. And these we find probably way beyond the poles. This is with the map. A bit smaller. Even kijken.
Since it goes way beyond the poles, is that indicating more land, or is just that's normal?
Yeah, south is pure land, north is pure sea, and the elevation data shows a lot of detail below the sea as well. But the more you get to the edge of it, the less. Well, in the south, you have actually when you are going beyond the pillar points, the detail of it is drastically less. And just before that, there's a lot of detail. So I'm not sure if that is their lack of scanning, or that there is that there is just less detail.
Okay.
And in the north, it's kind of the same. It's getting a little bit the same heights, but there is way more detail than in the south. And if you want that detail out of the GPS map, it's just impossible because it's completely in the single pixel position of the ball. It's just impossible to get that data out of a ball or a GPS map even. This is how this particular field acts. You see it also the sideways, a little bit below it and above it. But you can see there is an upwards and a downwards direction in these waves. This is seen from above again, a little bit sideways.
See, we're still unsure if these are tied to the sky, or if they're just land, like, you know.
This is all in the sky. What I found particularly funny was that the middle line, what you see actually as a line when you look at it from above, it actually crosses the 0.0 latitude longitude point, and then it bends to that southern part. But exactly here in the middle, it crosses the 0.0 point. So that's probably why they took that position as the 0.0 point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's actually how the whole east-west is bound through that center. And you see the bending to through the space loop, getting in again. Those two below, or 3 even, 4 even. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, coming out of here, goes through the space loop and goes there. And then the rest is within this part. This is a little bit, the heights is stretched with it amplified, so you can actually see the difference. This is from almost a flat. It comes out of the ground and goes back into the ground. And this is only the first 15 miles, 15 kilometers. This is the level 6 version I'm working on. This is the last image so far I have. Okay, where am I? And this is the movie I'm now generating with Blender. To see how it actually looks in 3D. I'm flying around it then. And this is the level 16 with only 15 miles of the 15 kilometers of the 1,000 kilometers. So I can go way higher, but at some point you just don't see it anymore. And yeah, the next idea is to actually make a full HD two-dimensional movie in two directions. One is from 0 to 1,000 kilometers per meter. So I have 10,000 frames of that. And the second one is through time from beginning of 2015 to the end of 2019. And yeah, I calculated how that if I take one image per day, I will end up probably with what is it, 14.6 million, I think. Yeah, 14.6 million images to create a movie in either time or height.
That's a lot of data manipulation.
I was just going to say, Ceres, that's obviously a snapshot of one point in time. If you take a snapshot, say once every 3 months, would you expect to see any change in that part?
Yeah, that's what I want to make, an animation through time, and that's the first step from the 0 meter position. And then a new movie with from the 1 meter and then and so on and so on. As a two-dimensional, just only high definition color of these particular pixels values of what the directional color is for that magnetic point. So we can see a full image of what is happening there as well. So there are several ways to look at it. This is one of them, to actually follow a line and then even color the direction, three-dimensional direction, so you can actually see which direction it goes.
I was just thinking that almost shows the ROI.
Hey. This is just 15 kilometers. And I can do that even per meter. So it's, yeah, it's, I guess it will take time to actually create the whole thing, but I guess just starting at 0 meters and the whole time animation is just the beginning as the first movie, and then work it up to the 1,000 kilometers. See if it actually has any use up there.
That's fantastic work, Ceres. And you're very modest with it. You're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, that's for sure. This is incredible stuff.
It is. It's mesmerizing.
And it's time. It takes a lot of time to work this through. Yeah.
Is there any way people can contribute to that? So, like, help share the data to help you process it faster?
Yeah, I'm thinking about an interface where I can actually generate the color maps, but from that I can let the browser create the images. And when all the images are there, the server can just create a movie out of it.
Yeah, looking
So it takes the render time of everyone's browser to actually render the images out of the color data. I'm using then the 2D canvas version instead of the WebGL one, 3D stuff. But then full HD, I don't know if 4K or 8K is even possible. I'm not sure what the particular data size is. But
And with this data too, do you know about open maps that would allow us? I've looked into it a little bit. That we can put different projections using the map data, and it'd be really nice to be able to kind of do an interactive web-based map that we could kind of layer these different, like your stuff and Stan's stuff, and just everything, all the data that we can get. If we could put it into an actual interactive web model, I think that'd be great.
yeah, that was kind of the idea of my own website, indeed. Getting all the readings in there, and yeah, we were just working then with single images and single readings, and plot that on whatever map there is to actually either confirm the reality or confirm the lie, in that sense.
Right.
Meanwhile, I actually accidentally came on the square data, what declared to me that is the actual form, because yeah, the photograph just is fully a square. If you build up all the smaller images and you zoom into the detail of the photo, you actually see that your own surrounding, your own location is kind of empirical proof in the photograph, because you know that is your own environment. And you can see that it is correct. And if you then put all the images together, yeah, it's a question of actually exploring the whole world for yourself to confirm it. But so far, if you have enough friends and we build it up, we can actually confirm that our surrounding is that particular photograph. Yeah, and as soon as I translate that back to the GPS map, then I destroy the whole latitude value, and in that also the photograph. And the more you deviate from the equator, at least, the more you go north or south, you will destroy the latitude more and more and more.
I was just going to say, look at that pic I'm showing.
Yeah,
yeah, it looks like what you're drawing.
Oh, okay. And this is the low level of the low elevation data. Of low altitude data, as they call it. Yeah, and when you go more higher, you'll see that the form changes as well. So I'm kind of figuring out what to do. I can animate several things actually through these lines, for example. Animate starting at the edge and then walking over the whole map and then ending at the other edge, and then in the meanwhile all the lines crossing these particular positions, and then you see the complete lining over the whole world in an animation. And that you can do for I don't know how many heights. Take 1 meter and then you have 10,000 levels to show. Or
does that shape in any way or form have any relation to the sun and moon's paths?
I'm not sure. It shows what the magnetic data is, and I guess we need our minds to figure out what this actually does.
Yeah, that's why I want to sit down with you and plot our stuff onto your map to see how it works. Because then we're it's following the magnetic field or anything, you know. I'm not sure as if it is, but we can certainly tell. It's obviously not going to happen tonight, you know.
Yeah, that does need looked at. Looking at that, you know, how does it relate to the sun and moon?
So far, I figured everything relates to the sun and moon.
It does indeed.
I've noticed everything relates to you as a living soul. You influence this world more than anything.
Oh, thank you, Stan. Ceres has been doing this for over a year, well, about a year now, actually downloading and doing this. Hours and hours. His computer's never turned off.
That's, I mean, like, you as a living thing are the only thing that bloody messes with the world.
Everyone is the center.
Yeah.
That's what I figured out, the same, yeah. It can't work otherwise.
You're more powerful than you realize.
Yeah, that makes sense. The real center.
It's clearly designed around us, isn't it?
As the book it states, actually.
Yeah, it's all designed around us. I think that's right.
Seems that we all agree on that one.
So, Ceres, is there anything else you want to say?
Wow.
Great presentation, Ceres.
So far, I need more time or more hardware or more people working on this with their computers to make it all sooner available.
Yeah, I think
so we can actually study it. It's gathering is one thing, but actually studying it will take a lot, take another step in that we can actually realize what this all says. In that sense, what I say is reality tell itself what it is, but then you have to restudy reality and record reality.
Yeah. And also see how many ancient structures are built on those magnetic lines.
For example,
yeah, good idea about it.
Ley line databases, etc. It's all what we like to have to know what all the influences are and what the meaning of it is.
Yeah. Because most of the ancient structures are magnetic, so yeah.
When you look at what Ceres is showing now, that is like the Eye of Ra. It's got even got the little line, you know, the line at the top and the flick at the bottom.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. Yeah. Now you say it, I see it. Yeah.
It's
You're
the
right.
Eye of Ra. Look.
How would they know? Yeah. How would they know?
Because they've already done all of this. You know, they ain't stupid. They weren't.
They were highly advanced. Those people who built the magnetic structure, they were so far ahead of us. Even we still don't know how those people built those ancient structures. So they probably already knew this also.
Yeah, they worked this all out.
You know something else? The people that were in the earthquake in Mexico, they absolutely knew that the only thing that would have been standing at the end of it would have been all the pyramids. So they were earthquake-proof.
Isn't that something? We can't get anything earthquake-proof today.
Well, we could if we actually put our minds on it.
Yeah. I think you all are working on it.
What do you think of all these presentations tonight with all these people's work?
It's all amazing. It just amazes me every time I see it, which surprises me because it's like, okay, I'm not going to be amazed again, but every time it is.
Yeah, that says the truth is stranger than all the fiction combined.
Yeah.
And it shows you what good people can do when the motivation is right and you just put your mind to it and want to go for the good of the humanity. You know, it's just brilliant stuff comes out.
in that, instead of watching the TV all the time and sitting there like a zombie, you can also do this kind of research and found out that they are lying to us all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, because most people go home after their work and sit in front of the television and sit there like zombies. If I bicycle around my town at the night, I can see all those lights flickering of the TV in every home. Basically, they are doing nothing, only being almost in an hypnotic mindset, sitting at the TV. Because always, if you somebody is sitting for a TV for a longer time of period, and you want to try to say something to them, you can clearly witness that they are in a hypnotic state of mind. You almost sometimes you have to shout to some people, "Hey, I'm talking to you. Hey, hey, hey," and then they almost jump up and say, "Oh, what's happening?" Because they are so hypnotized by the TV.
Globe television and watch Flat Earth TV instead.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm now watching television not watching television for a couple of months, and it improved my sleeping pattern, everything. I'm now sleeping much deeper than I ever slept before, and I also feel more energetic and clearer mindset. So everything helps.
It was 2 years ago I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
In my house, I call it the idiot box.
I even don't have a TV in my living room. I've put it on my attic, on the side, and I don't use it anymore. I only listen to the radio in the morning just to get my local news for if there is a fair or if there is a road obstruction or something, or the weather. And that's basically why I watch the radio in the morning, and that's it.
Also, I have to say that I feel so privileged to be here, to be able to talk to all these people. And I just saw that each one, there's more people than on here, because we've got the Doc and his free energy. There's more people on here, people researching, but people, they're all parts of a puzzle, all doing different separate things. But, you know, like Chris's work, Matt, Ceres, they all overlap each other. They're all connected. They all see this.
Yeah, and you know, when it's all connected, like through FTV or whatever, that's when society is going to wake up, because then all the efforts will be put into like a laser beam. Right now, it's all scattered everywhere, and a lot of people, as you know, trying to pull the other groups apart, because their model's a little different than yours or whatever. It's all human pride and ego, which comes from the idiot box. It's all programmed in.
That's why we indeed we should all work together. And just to is Ceres finished or not?
Well, yeah, I'd like to say one thing though. We're all different branches, all different roots of the same tree of knowledge. And the only thing we can do with it is join up to actually see it as a whole.
Yeah.
Can I just say something as well? Is you start off with this, and then you go on to that. And each one of us on this panel know that it's so much deeper.
It's all connected.
And then when you see Stan and Artist and Aaron and Chris Monk, and
you could also see Ceres was showing his model, and then Stan all of a sudden said, "Hey, that looks like that eye, that Egyptian eye, with the curl behind under it." He's now showing it in his thing, that it looks like an Egyptian eye, and that's why a lot of things are related to each other. It all has meaning towards each other. It's all it's an all fitting puzzle. Every research we do, it fits all together.
Yes, it's a total puzzle. But can I just say, Artist, because I know you want to show some stuff, but we've asked Rich on here. Rich, do you want to add anything or say anything before Artist carries on with his pictures? But you know, we've asked you here. You've seen all these people's research. We asked you onto the panel, and
No, I just want to take it in for now and hear the rest of the presentation. I'm one of those people that I'll be contemplating this for hours tonight. It'll be running through my mind.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of person I am. But
Okay.
it's just all brilliant stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it even up a notch.
Okay.
If I can.
Thanks for the warning.
Yeah, this will be even. Everything is exciting, and Ceres blows my mind with this great stuff and everything. But if I can I do it now, Karen?
Go on, artist.
A little bit of drum ruffle, and then I'm gonna. You can see my screen, of course. This is in Ole Tambo. This is in near Peru, Bolivia. And this is the structure of Ollantay Tambo. And you can see basically what they always say, if you see the whole structure, this is all Inca period. They want you to believe that this is all Inca period. No, that is 100% not true. Over here on the right, you can see those smaller stones in these windows. This is what I've done my research. This is all Inca period with those smaller stones. 100%. The Incas even wrote about it. But the Inca basically found this side where with the bigger stones over here, you can see a very big stone. They did repairs with the smaller Inca stones, very clear on top of it. Also here you can see smaller Inca repairs to those stones. But you can clearly see here on the right they have smaller stones. On the left they have bigger stones with those knobs again. Here you can see a road that they try to repair. If we go over here, those are the older, bigger stones of the predating Inca civilization. And also you can see here goes the repair. They try to repair this hole because it was caved in. So you can clearly see the Incas repaired the structure that was already in place. Very clear. The next structure you can see now the angle, how it was built on a mountain. So you have to bear in mind that these are stones as hard as granite. And this is one block over here. This are 2 blocks. They fitted it together, 2 or 3 blocks. And they put it all the way up this mountain. But the stones, some of those stones on top were excavated about 20 miles. So they first have to carry those stones in some sort of way 20 miles, get it up these hills, put them in place, fit them together in such a great way without any mortar between them. So this is all built without any mortar, this stone or cement between them. And they fit them together so tight that you can't even put a credit card between them. Over here you can see some repairs they did, and you can again see those strange knobs. Some people think they maybe were used for pouring the stones. So if you pour something, you also end up sometimes with those kind of shapes. Here you can see how straight and how it's fitting like a jigsaw puzzle. It all feels very tight together, with not one stone is the same shape. So it's very interesting that they had the knowledge of fitting all those stones together with such a great accuracy. So that is very, very, very skillfully done, of course. If we go one further, you can see
it's like puzzle pieces.
Yeah, like puzzle pieces. Not one stone is the same. This one.
Yeah, amazing.
And they fit all together. How tight? You can't even fit a credit card. And if you sing a flat E into this, so it's the whole wall starts to resonate. The whole wall for a couple of minutes. This is another structure. You can clearly see that this was the older structure, also with those strange knobs. And some of them have knobs, some of them. Some people even think that those stones were knobs were on those stones on purpose to actually work as a sundial. But I have to look into that even further if that's exactly the truth. So maybe this is the Earth and this is the sun and the moon and the stars. You never know. But if I have to research that further, you can clearly see they try to repair the structure with Inca smaller stones with mortar between them, because the Incas use mortar and cement, and this is done without cement. Very skilled build, straight corners, all almost exactly level. This is in to compare that you have it all over the place. This is in Baalbek, Italy. This huge block of stone, it goes even behind the stairs. And you have again those holes with them, only they are inverted in this time around. So you have, and this one is also the smoothest. All the stones around it have rough surfaces, and this one is very smooth and 100% level. And it weighs about 200 or 300 tons. This is the same site. You can see those very big blocks. And the Romans built on top of that with smaller stones. Very clear, smaller stones. These are the old, bigger stones with holes in them. Look, those holes are almost like music notes going up and down.
I think everything's going to come down to frequencies.
Yeah.
Audio frequencies, I think, is going to be the secret to a lot of this stuff.
That's how I wonder if they were lifting these big stones.
I think they were.
You know, hitting them with a frequency, and they were resonating a frequency, and then they made them. But that, like, I wonder if weight is a frequency, and if you put it's a positive frequency, say, and then you put the negative frequency with it, you can then make that weight turn off. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Indeed, a lot of those stones are frequency, react to frequency. Like I told before, if you sing a flat E into this, it's all starts to resonate. Okay, you can see even here big blocks with, it almost looks like they have some type of press marks in them. Here you can see rectangular press marks. Here you can see rectangular press marks. I'll get to that in a second. This is how to align it with the red line to see how actually big those stones are, and then build on top of it with smaller stones. Here you can see the same, bigger stones, smaller stones on top, but also those stones fit very perfectly. So it could even be that this is the oldest, then they build this, and then they build with the smaller stones. So you have 3 times, this is Inca, this is before Inca, this is even before that. So it's very, very old. You can also see it, the repairs with the smaller stones by the Inca civilization. Here, so you can see in the distance Inca buildings, totally built with smaller stones, and this is predating the Inca civilization. Very clear, they try to repair it. Here's also a site, bigger stones, also with those strange shape. Not one stone is the same shape, but they all fit together perfectly without. You can't even put a credit card between it. And the later repairs by the Inca civilization, very clear on top. This is even in Egypt. This is the Osiris temple at Abydos in Egypt. Big stones again. You can even see they fit those stones over here. If I blow it up a bit, they are so smart that this fits on top of this with this knob and hole. Over here you have that also. So they were this is also very level, almost 100% level. And the Egypt people built on top of this, because this is all lower than the pyramids. This is all probably even predating the pyramids.
I was just going to say, that's why then they survive earthquakes, because of the notches and the way that they're all set into each other.
Yeah, they survive earthquakes, indeed. And this you can see here, also 3 types. This is very big stones. Again, with those older structures with holes in them, always holes in them. And some people say it's for roof support, but I think, well, could be, but I doubt it. This is, again, you can see bigger stones they put between the stones, and on top smaller stones. And these are Roman, because later on this was a Roman site, and they built on top of it. And this is in Spain, so bear in mind, this is in Egypt, this is in Peru, this is in Egypt, this is in Spain. This is in Bolivia again, that's near Peru. Again, it almost looks the same. This is in Spain. Big stones with holes, smaller stones on top. Big stones.
There's a shocking lack of weathering in there, isn't there? They're not worn down at all.
Because they are very hard stones, most of the time, like granite or even harder.
Well, which means they're even heavier.
Yeah. You can see I did a red line around the biggest older stones. You can clearly see they built later on with smaller stones. It's almost like those monolithic structures in England, only they built something further to make it a structure. This is in Peru. You can see those cracked, almost like a sofa and a small staircase going up. And this one is in Spain. And to me, they look very much alike. The same technology, the same kind of stone almost, with a big stair on the bigger stairs on the right and the smaller stairs on the left. The same, the same type of engineering, the same type of structure. And you can, I underlined it to point out the stairs, that the bigger stairs, smaller stairs, smaller stairs, bigger stairs, smaller stairs. This is one to point out those holes in this structure in Baalbek in Italy. And you go to these ruins in, that is near, near Greece. They also have those holes in them in a row, just like in Baalbek, Italy. So and this is a flooded city. It's the most of the cities underwater. Again, you can see those scoops out in the stone, almost like they use a device to scoop it out or press in it. And if you compare this is in Greece, compare this 2 and 1 in Peru, you can clearly see the same type of skill here. They have those cuts out. This scrummy here, straight corner. And here again, they are testing their devices on the stone, how to use it or practice maybe. This maybe could be 2 of the practice sites. Only this is in Peru and this is in Greece. So there's about maybe hundreds of miles between them. And here you can see also a scoop out like this. It almost pressed in it. This is an whole wall, and this is not a roof support because this would be a very strange roof support with all those holes in them. This is something else. I think it still has something to do with frequency. I put all red blocks in it. And if you take it out, you'll end up with something that looks like a musical notes.
Yeah, it does. It does look musical.
And I even put it in a Magic Music Maker and played the music. Very strange music. So that also works. You can see the same scoops out in the stone like they are testing, like it is a testing site. Here again you can see holes. Here again the stairs going up. Here again stairs going up to something. Maybe there was something here that broke off. Here again also a stair-like structure, and here is also something broken off, and this is very big. And the Inca civilization built around this stone to worship this stone basically. And to point out that this is in Machu Picchu, Peru, and you can see 2 stairs with a knob here, like an armrest. And if you look over here, this is in the Sphinx in Athens. You basically also have a small stair with, again, on the left side, something like an armrest. And then this is in Peru. So also in Peru you have that. You can put them side by side. This is in Greece, Athens, and this is in Peru. Look at the similarity. I pointed out with blue and red lines, so you can clearly see it was used for the same type of thing, probably. Yeah, maybe there was also a roof structure above this, like that one on the left. What I also want to point out, maybe you know this in Pumapunco in Peru. You probably know this.
What are those things there? They look like gravestones.
Yeah, that some people, they're still not known what they are. But they are lying all over the place like this. Like this. pieces, but you have a hole in them over here. And what I think that these stones at Pumapunku in Bolivia were used to make this. Because if you pour, if you pour something in here in these stones, because those stones are again very hard, like granite-like stones. I think those even are harder than granite. They are all magnetic. All magnetic. If you put the compass over here or over here, the needle starts to turn all around, not to the actually north, but all other directions. Even if you lie them in this stone, in the front it has a 90-degree angle. If you put it to the back, it has a 180 degree. The needle of the compass starts to turn. So this is all magnetic, and I think they poured these kind of structures that are also in Bolivia, so not that far away, to actually pour these kind of structures. So that was my presentation, basically, of the ancient structures.
Hey, see those markings, Arties? They could be like geoglyphs or hieroglyphs, you know. Could be a story in there somewhere mixed up.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Indeed. Yeah. But just to show Aaron, because he didn't seen it before, how we have been lied to about monolithic structures. I think this points it out perfectly.
Yeah, then he plotted on their Ceres' magnetic map, those did.
Yeah. You can watch videos of Brian Forrest, and he goes actually to the sites and shows all the magnetic purposes and sound frequencies, everything.
Someone should post that guy a 360 so we can get a better look.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a short presentation of actually what I'm researching at the moment still.
And that's unbelievably fascinating stuff. And if the Incas built on that, they were recognizing that was the superior structure. Otherwise, they'd build their own.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and the purpose of the site, you know, why choose that location? And at the end of the day, where did the people go?
Yeah,
you know,
because most of those locations are very isolated or very high up on a mountain.
Yeah, you look at these old structures, you know, they're at the height of their skills by the look of it, and then they just seem to vanish.
Yeah. You can also see there was probably a cataclysm because all the older structures, predating the Egypt structures, predating the Incas and the Mayas, are all, you can clearly see, heavily damaged. So maybe they were building something that was magnetic and with frequencies. In some time period, maybe it blessed that the whole system was malfunctioning, and it basically broke down, and all the stones also broke down. And after a certain time of period, the people came back in and tried to rebuild it.
Another angle there, Artie, is you could look at earthquake data for them regions and see if that plays a role in the destruction.
Near Bolivia, there are also near Machu Picchu. There are so there are earthquake lines.
Or maybe they discovered television accidentally, and that was the end of it.
Yeah,
just all fell apart.
We evolved into what we are now, perhaps.
Wrong frequencies going through there, tore it apart.
Only a couple of people woke up and started rebuilding it.
Yeah.
But that is what I'm researching, all those ancient structures, and I'm finding more and more ancient structures, and they all, you can clearly see they're all built in the same type of, with the same time of skill. Yeah.
Yeah, they all look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely look built around the same period, don't they? Like it's part of the design.
Yeah, sometimes you have to go to thousands of pictures to actually find the right ones, and also find other angles of the same picture to actually see that you're on the right track. So the pictures I show are the best ones to show you how it works.
So anyone considering a holiday or vacation, take a 360 so we can have a better look at it.
I'll also visit other sites, because most of the people go somewhere and then very close by is a far more interesting site sometimes. They go to the pyramids, but just in front of the pyramids you also have the temple with very big stones you can visit. Just like the one I show you.
That's what I like about your workouts is, you showed us sites that we don't even know exist. What you've shown us so far, I've never seen most of them. Didn't know they existed.
They try to hide it as good as possible. You have to go to a lot of sites and sites on the internet to actually find these pictures, because they make them as hard to find as possible.
I say as well, with one of these 360 cameras, if you walk through that place and back and forth and map it like you would like when they do sonar in the ground, they just walk to and from. If you were to do that and then come back, you could spend weeks looking at that video. You could pause every step you took and then examine all of them images on them walls. You wouldn't miss anything,
Indeed. They also did with the radio waves to actually see what is under the ground. And by near the pyramids, there are a lot of structures still under the ground. But also in Bolivia and Peru, there are a lot of structures still under the ground.
That's what I said to you the other night, like with the pyramids, what is in that desert that they haven't found yet, There's a lot of sand hiding, a lot of stuff, And
probably sometimes they even found stuff and they covered it up again to hide it.
Witness said, the one that lives in Mexico, who's been unfortunately in that earthquake, he said that there are loads of pyramids on private land which have not been recorded yet, not registered.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me a bit.
There's stuff on the island here that's on private land that I want to go to and film, like ancient ruins that you can't go to because it's on private land.
There's
even Stonehenge. Even Stonehenge was private land.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Stonehenge isn't real. It's all poured in concrete.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly the drone over everything here because I can't see it. They can tell me off for a drone.
Well, yeah, it's also not allowed to touch the stones at Stonehenge because you probably feel that they are not real.
Yeah.
There's a few places in the U.S. actually that turns out they're probably ancient temples and such that they would advertise differently. Like if there's a place I used to go when I was a kid, it's called Monk's Mound, and the story they told us was that it was a bunch of Native Americans just buried in the earth. But then I had this flat Earth friend who actually he's been going around to some various sites, and that was one of them. And he was telling me a lot more information about it, how it's actually an underground temple that they just never dug up.
Indeed, but most of the time what they tell you of the places, they don't know what it is. Yeah, it's a burial site. All right, next site. They always lie about that. They always, if they don't know what it is, the archaeologists, they say it's a burial site. And that's strange because they never excavated any kind of sarcophage or dead humans on that site. So they make up some crazy story of it as being a burial site, but 9 times out of 10 it's not so.
The different thing.
Too much truth. Too much truth.
I've got the different thing where, well, it's about 30 miles from me now. There's a stone circle called Avebury. And then next to it, they had this thing called Silbury Hill. It was a mound of earth. Anyway, about 12 years ago, they did some work in it, and they know it's a pyramid. Now, everybody around me here where I live, and everybody there will think it's still a mound of earth. Yet you can now go and find it on the pyramids of the world. Here knows it's a pyramid.
Yeah, they found the same thing in the Ohio Valley here, all kind of pyramids. They were calling something else.
Yeah, there's even some reports that they found a pyramid on the South Pole. So.
I wish we could all go down and verify.
Yeah, there are some pictures on the internet that they are not that sharp, so I don't know if it's right. But there are some pictures up about the pyramid on the South Pole. I have to further investigate that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Who knows what the micro elevation data shows up? We're not into the details yet.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if your calculations give all the spots that the pyramids are. Yeah,
yeah, but also the more I scan, the more some regions are of interest, and then you actually can scan a particular region in there in way more detail.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's the scanning the data just takes a lot of time. That's why I work from top down. First have a complete image and then in more and more detail, but at some point we can actually pinpoint some positions somewhere to get a real detail data out of there and see it as big as the way we see the world in high detail, and then see more of what is actually hidden in there, and especially under the sea. I see a lot of areas in the sea what it's very suspicious in that sense.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. They even in between I think it's Lake Titicaca or something, between Peru and Bolivia have a big lake, and there's also some footage of there being a city in that lake under the water. And yeah, also in front of Egypt, just before the Nile, just left of the Nile Delta, there's also a whole city underwater. They also recorded it. They've sent divers to excavate the things from the sea bottom. So a lot of areas that are now flooded with water once were places and where people lived. It's very clear.
You only have to look in Google Earth really to see areas they hide in. Mm-hmm. You know, I'll tell you where to look. Look on the west coast of Australia, Google Earth, and you'll see some strange lines in the ground, well, on the seabed leading off in directions, and you can follow them around the world.
Well, the most interesting place, the most interesting place you have in Peru, they're blocked out. I know that the structure is actually there, and there aren't a lot of photos of there. It basically looks like an ancient clock to tell the time. But they try, they have that whole location is blocked off. All around it is very sharp. Only in that location it's blocked off, like they sometimes do with airports or military sites.
Yeah, they're hiding it everywhere. You know, they don't want us to see the big picture, but it's coming together slowly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You'll have to show that one sometime, Artis. I haven't seen that one.
That clock one?
Karen, I'm going to have to run at the top of the hour.
Well, can we just finish now with Rich? Because you've got a few minutes. Is there anything you want to say or see anybody's work or?
I want to see. I want to see more of each of it.
Yeah, I found the clock thing.
I was just going to say as well, Rich, if you spread the word about the 360 stuff and all, you know, collecting more data, and if you get the headset and get, I will forward you some pictures to look at, some photos.
If you could actually forward me some exactly what the cameras are, pictures of the camera, model name, numbers or whatever, yeah, I'll be glad to do it.
Yeah, I will do, mate. I will do.
Also, like I said, we haven't had Matt Jerome on tonight. You know, he's another person with masses of information you should see. And also I said we've got the doc who is into free energy. He's another person that you should see.
Yeah, I'm very interested in the free energy stuff.
Brilliant people who are on today who work so hard, all of them. And you as well, Rich.
Oh, I'm barely making a crack.
Well, Richard, also you can see here this clock device in Peru they try to hide.
Oh, yeah.
You can see this is a gearing system, and you can also see the tooth for that gearing system.
That is amazing. We couldn't do that today.
You also realise that we just don't know very much after all, even when we're researchers and looking up these videos about flat Earth.
This is basically a clock. This is basically a clock broken down, because those here those holes in there can easily fit on top of this.
Right.
So you have the gearing system lying all around, pieces lying here all around here. Also, you can see those gears and this looks very, yeah.
Do you reckon you could put all of these images in a zip, like a zip file, so we can have all these, and then we could print all of these images out as well, so they're hard copy?
Yeah.
Or you could just use a slideshow and pause it and print it. You can screen grab it.
Yeah, and if Rich wants anything from tonight, then just ask me, and I can get this information from any one of these people to pass on to you.
Very good. I really appreciate it. It's been mind-blowing as usual.
I think we should come back and give Rich a hug then as he's going.
Yeah. He has now has a couple of days to digest all of this.
Yeah, that's what I'll be up half the night tonight. Trust me, I'll be thinking about all this. That's just how my mind works with it.
Yay! So, because obviously you want to go in a moment. So thank you so much for coming to listen. And there's more to tell you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me, and thanks to all of you for your presentations. Fantastic stuff, as always.
Nice to hear your input.
Yeah, nice seeing you all. And if you want me again, I'll be back sometime.
Oh, cool.
Back.
Yeah.
All righty. God bless each and every one of you. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, God bless, brother.
Well,
all right. Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Take care, Richard.
I'm ready. Bye-bye.
Woo.
I've actually got to hop off too. So it's been great. It's been really fun. Very informative and enlightening. So thank you all.
Thank you, Aaron. And Aaron, you're coming back to do it again soon on Sun and Moon to explain it, because we need to get this out again and again and again. And Stan's coming back again and again and again. Mm-hmm. Artist does it every Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, because every time you do a presentation, you get better at it and better and have more information to prove your point.
Yep. Practice makes perfect.
Aaron,
indeed.
A big flat earth hug to you, Aaron, and thank you so much for your time and energy, and thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Take care, man.
We have been going now for 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's the time that we also end our hangout.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's still some waiting for a close-up.
Sorry, Ceres?
I've still
Ceres.
video.
That's an electric car series.
It seems so.
Ooh.
Pretty modern here.
Mm-hmm.
Modern looks. Yeah.
What a lovely machine that is.
Well, thanks for showing that series. I think we've been going long enough now, so we're going to end this hangout. But thank you so much for everybody that's been on the panel, everybody that's watched, everybody that's going to watch. And we're back. What's the day today? The day's Thursday. Look at my little book. We've got a variety of people tomorrow coming on. People coming on, new people and other people tomorrow. So we're back tomorrow at 9 o'clock again. And thank you, everybody, Flat Earth hug to everybody on the panel left, everybody in the chat room, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for all your presentations and all your hard work. Bye now.
And thank you, Cameron, for doing this hangout.
Oh, no, thank you. Patricia, do you want to have the last word?
No, not really. I'm only joking. No, it's been fascinating. Too much information for me to take in, but ways. So well done, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done, everyone. Nice job.
Yeah, indeed.
Brilliant. On that note, we say goodnight to everybody. So, thank you very much.
See you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for watching.
Love you all.
Yeah, cheers for listening to us.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, bye, everybody. Thank you.